kwa sababu ya those particular blessings. I'm going to be checking out your shoutouts in a short while, so if you're just tuning in, karibu tena sana. And if you're here for the first time, let me let you know that this is the People's Breakfast. We do this every single morning from 6 a.m. to 10 in the a.m. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are live on all the platforms. You can also find us live on our YouTube channel, that is at Radio Generation Kenya. Na pia pale katika website yetu, that is radiogeneration.co.ke. Indeed, we are glad that you are here. And if you are here for the first time, please let us know so we can give you a proper welcome. A couple of things we're going to be discussing today, including and not limited to the President of the United States. I'm just going to read something that he has said in the last in the last 2 hours. He says that I'm pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. Now, this oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States. This is one of those people you say, history will definitely remember this man. Yeah, City. History will definitely remember Donald J. Trump. Well, also, every single morning, what we like doing is talking about significant events that have happened on this day throughout history. It could be something that even happened last year. It could be something that happened 50 years ago. So, for example, today being the 7th day of January 2026. What happened significantly on this day? In 1986, the Soviet Union launched the Mir space station, a pioneering modular space station that hosted international crews for over a decade. 1993, 2 young boys were charged with the murder of toddler James Balga, a shocking crime that gripped the United Kingdom. And then in 1989, the IRA bombed Tarnhill Barracks in Shropshire, which is in England, adding to the ongoing conflict. Hawa tu IRA wamekuwa something about history by day. We need to talk about these guys at one point in our conversations this morning, or rather one of our very good conversations on our mornings right here on the People's Breakfast. Other notable events, like in 1958, the historic docks of Sheerness in the UK were slated to close. And then in 1962, a US spaceman orbited the Earth, a significant step in the space race. Well, and if you were born today, a very happy birthday to you. It is definitely a significant day to you and your loved one. So a happy birthday to you. Let us also know. Would like to give you that particular shout out. Okay, Siti ako na methali ya leo. Siti, kabla utupatie methali, hebu shika kaka kidude ndio tuone kama tutaweza kusaidika. Bado haijasaidika. Bado. Bado. Labda ukisema mic 1 2 nitajua. Mic 1 2. Bado. Bado.
Alright, just mic.
No mic. There, City Muga in the flesh.
Imepatikana?
Nimekupata sasa. Yes, leo utatupatia methali gani kutoka wapi?
Bado tuko Sudan. Remember, I mentioned to you yesterday.
Yes.
That one of the unique things about Sudan, unique in the not so pleasant way, is just the number of coups that they've had.
Yeah, I remember we counted yesterday about 3.
Well, let me know the outstanding ones. In 1958, remember these gentlemen, these wonderful people, gentlemen and women, got their independence in 1952.
Yes.
17th November 1958, there was a bloodless coup. Okay? Okay. And he actually removed a civilian government.
Right.
Okay? But unfortunately, it didn't last. Okay? Because in 1969...
Yes.
Somewhere around 25th of May, this gentleman, Abdallah Hafey, was also overthrown by a Colonel Jafar Numeri. Now,
right.
It starts getting interesting. So we're in 1969.
Yes, we are.
We moved to 1971.
2 years later.
Yes, 2 years later. There's a Major Hasham who briefly removed Jafar Numeri.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
But there was a counter coup.
By Jafar.
No, Jaffa history yake imeenda.
Oh, so Jaffa akatolewa kwa heri ya kuonana.
See you
another day.
Ubarikiwe.
Okay.
Then Numeri,
yeah.
Remember Numeri is the one who removed the first leader.
Right.
Okay. The guy who came in at independence.
Yes.
Then now in 1971 there's now a major. Remember Numeri was a colonel when he removed Jaffa.
Yes.
Okay. Hasham removes him, but only for a very short while. That same year,
yes,
Numeri comes back. That's why it's called a counter coup. Okay. Now time goes by from 1971. Numeri rules. Then in 1985,
yes,
okay, now there is another coup led by Field Marshal Abdel Rahman Swar al-Faid against President Jafar Numeri.
Okay.
1985, Numeri out. Okay. Then 3 years down the line, just 3 years down the line, in June.
This Numeri fellow has been in and out of this thing, eh?
Jaribud, he came back. He removed somebody, was removed briefly, came back. Now it was his turn to be removed.
Okay.
He got removed.
By who now?
Okay. June 1989, just 4 years later,
yes,
Omar al-Bashir seized power. Now Omar al-Bashir ruled for 30 years.
Yes.
Until we forgot there was another president. You know a name, you know it completely. Then, my friend,
yeah,
something very interesting happened in 2019, April. He was ousted by the Sudanese armed forces.
Yes, now that one, I was alive when it happened.
Yes, just the armed forces. But in October now, a leader came out. This was Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Okay? And what he did was, he had a coup, okay, that removed the Sovereignty Council. There was a military junta that was governing. He came in and established himself in 1921. Unfortunately, his stay in power was very short-lived.
Yes.
Because the thing that then happened, the current civil conflict that we see between the Sudanese armed forces, the Rapid Support Forces, led by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo. Is it Daglado or Dalgado? Anyway.
Yeah.
His nickname is Hemeti.
Yes, I know Hemeti. Yes.
Now, that's where we are. I'm talking about the major ones. But the ones which were foiled and the ones which were attempted, very, very, very many.
Yes.
Now, when you look at the list of mineral wealth that this country has, my friend, if it isn't gold, if it isn't iron ore, if it isn't chromate, if it isn't industrial mineral like gypsum, my friend, phosphate, and the list goes on. And then gold. Now you may ask, in Africa, who are the biggest producers of gold? Believe it or not, it's Ghana.
Sorry, Ghana is the number one country producer of gold.
Followed by South Africa. Third is Sudan.
Yes.
Fourth is Mali. And fifth is Burkina Faso.
Mali is where we had Mansa Musa.
Mali is where we had Mansa Musa.
The richest king to ever live.
It covered a lot of areas where you have Burkina Faso right now. The Mali kingdom was much bigger.
Yes.
So now, when you know that it has gold, and you know Burkina Faso has gold, you can understand why certain people never cease to have an interest in that particular region.
Yes.
And they're also looking for ways of butting into the business of those individuals.
Right.
Now the proverb.
Yes.
Oh, it's in the statement. Oh, digger of pit of wickedness, widen your lying place in it.
Hey, come again. At the old digger.
Well, on our chimba. The pit of wickedness. Widen it. Make a lying place in it.
Okay.
Yani,
for you, for yourself.
Yako binafsi. Unapochimba hiyo ya mwenzako. Jiweke nafasi kidogo.
Wahenga pia Waswahili walisema hivi. I'm comparing it now to this one.
Yes.
Walisema mchimba kisima huingia mwenyewe.
Yes. Yes.
Mchimba kisima ufanya nini? Huingia mwenyewe.
Yes.
So as you're digging that hole for you said wickedness.
Yes.
Widen the pit for yourself.
Because what you're doing, I have Trump in mind when I thought of this proverb.
Trump is an interesting fellow. Absolutely. And you know, every single day he doesn't cease to amaze me. Every time I log on to social media, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on, like right now this morning I checked out X. Man, I'm just saying that Americans right now are having the time of their life.
Remember also when you talk about Trump, remember this is an elected leader.
Yes, he is.
There was no military coup. He was elected.
He is a legitimate leader.
Yes. And remember that he is the head of state, plus
Yeah.
he's the commander-in-chief.
Right.
That's number one. Number two,
Yeah.
you must also remember that he has people who work for him who follow his bidding.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not as though he is an unpopular president.
Yes.
No, he is not. So of interest, as you find Trump interesting, I find the American people interesting. It's a period in the history of the world where there's a lot to study and a lot to understand.
He's actually very popular amongst his people.
He's very popular among certain groups of his people. Yes.
Well, they say God bless America. And of course, God bless everywhere else, Bwana. Not just America. Would like all of us to be blessed. Don Sabanasama movie Ask CT with the erratic moves and pseudonyms of ODM in decision making. Do you think the dissenting voices will continue having their space and say?
Yes. The thing about any political setup that had a strong leader, the departure of the leader normally comes with certain movements. This is putting it as politely as I can.
Okay.
If it is a strong leader who brought together a country that was already in pieces, their departure from power normally means that you are going to have the disintegration again.
Right.
That is in a country. Yugoslavia being case in point. Okay?
Yes.
But places where you had leaders who put units of the country together but they didn't dissipate.
Yeah.
Italy, okay? Germany under Garibaldi. These were strong people. Garibaldi was Italian.
Yeah.
Otto von Bismarck was German.
Yeah.
These were city-states, put them or states.
Yeah.
Or they put them together. They've never actually separated. The federalism has stuck and they become a cohesive country.
Yes.
Political parties, the type we find on the continent of Africa, even when there is succession, it takes a bit of time before whoever it is who has succeeded the leader who has passed on to actually entrench themselves and to have the sort of say that is now recognized as their own.
Yeah.
But it also opens up doors for little pockets of power to actually come into being by the people who are there.
Yeah.
And because we're nearing an election, it's open season. There are people who are hedging their bets in all manner of directions just to try and determine how well they can do for themselves.
Yeah.
Key element here being for
Themselves.
Yes.
Marit says, good morning, kings and queens. This is our day and year to conquer. Let's go and conquer. 110 iko locked. 110 wanakwanga, hii ni route gani 110? Kitengela?
I have no idea.
I think it is Kitengela. Mbuvi na CT, salamu nyingi kutoka New Maduro's home, LOL. Looking forward for the conversation today. This is Fighter 178. So Fighter, are you trying to say that you're in New York? Well, karibu tena sana. Wanjala is saying Happy New Year. Good morning CT and Paul, tuning in from Tuda in Mombasa. Karibuni tena sana. Watu wa Tuda shall be giving you traffic updates also from that particular area. Watu wa Garissa, good morning. We are on 89.5 in your area code. So if you're getting us loud and clear, and also just the environs of Garissa, please let us know how we are faring. Right now, though, let's check out what's on our website. That is radiogeneration.co.ke. Like I told you, this is a newspaper. You can find every single story there, whether it's news and politics, worldview events, and news making headlines all over the world, business news, technology news, entertainment news. Ukitaka udaku about your favorite star, whether it's your sports star or your music star, movie star, you'll get it out there on the website. That is radiogeneration.co.ke. So why don't we start with some top stories making headlines, yeah? Somalia protests Israel's minister's visit to Hargeisa. Israel recently, recognized Somaliland as an independent state. And of course, this conversation has been on people's tongues. Let's see what Somalia's president, that is President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. Now, the Federal Republic of Somalia has issued a strong diplomatic protest following what it described as an unauthorized visit by Israel's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Gideon Saar, to Hargeisa, declaring the move a serious violation of Somalia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In a statement released on January 6th, that is yesterday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation said it condemns in the strongest terms the unauthorized incursion by the Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs into Hargeisa, which it stressed as an integral and inseparable part of the sovereign territory of the Federal Republic of Somalia. Now, the Somali government said the visit constituted a serious violation of Somalia's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political unity, and amounted to an unacceptable interference in the internal affairs of a sovereign member state of the United Nations. May I have a solution for these folks, CT?
I can't wait to hear.
Just a few minutes ago, you were telling us about these states that came together, became a federal, they became federal states, eventually becoming, whole countries, right?
Yes.
Why doesn't Somalia adopt that? Wasikizane, because we have, of course, there's Jubaland, there's Somaliland, and then, of course, there's the rest of Somalia. Wasema, okay, fine, guys, look, you're the president of Somaliland. You know what? Well, why don't you be the governor of that particular area? And this other one, governor of Jubaland. And then I become, president of all of you. Then in another 5 years or 7 years, you become president of all of us. And then another 7 years, you are the one, you become president of all of us. And everyone goes home happy. And guess who benefits? The people of Somalia.
How are you feeling this morning, Paul?
I'm actually feeling better than the last 2 days.
Sounding very chirpy. You are assuming that the citizens of this vast geographical area have the self-determination to decide exactly what they want to do.
Wait, come again. Which people? The those leaders or the citizens of those? Okay.
Yes. Leaders can't be leaders unless people accept you to lead them.
Yes.
Okay.
Nikweli.
So there's a lot about Somalia that people have an interest. Somalia is more or less the gateway to that small little enclave.
Yeah.
Where you have Djibouti, then you go to the Gulf of Aden. It's a major shortcut if you want to ship things in these areas.
Right.
Because ordinarily then you would have to move from the Indian Ocean, or you would actually have to go to the Atlantic Ocean. You go to West Africa, go round to South Africa, come up through Mozambique, Dar es Salaam and so forth. That's number one. The shoreline of Somalia is one of the longest, if not the longest on the continent. They have fish galore. What many people do not understand is that Somalia, before they had their problems in 94, was a very thriving economy. Very, very rich and thriving. They had industries, they had farms, they had schools, they had universities. This is not spoken of. What is spoken of is the chaos that erupted when the civil war broke out. Okay? These are people who are essentially quite self-sufficient in food even. A little journey along the lines of the history of that country will reveal many things of what the country has. But then there's the little detail about oil. There's a little detail about gas. And there's the little detail of maritime security and the hosting of Palestinians.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
When you look at the interest of other nations in Somalia, the largest, I call it the largest geographical area, it has very little to do with the welfare of the people who inhabit that big geographical area. Yes. If Israel has an interest, it means America has an interest. It's not very complicated. Yes.
What I'm saying is, for the people of Somalia, they just come together. It's as simple as that.
They've been trying.
Imagine yote mathematics, eventually 1 + 1 is 2.
No.
1 + 1 will never be 52.
Paul, do you really think that the people who live in Somalia aren't trying?
But you see, let me tell you the problem of every country. It's not the people, it's the leadership. Even here in Kenya. Imagine it is.
Where do the leaders come from, man?
They come from amongst us, of
course.
Yes,
exactly. And how do they become leaders?
We choose them.
Yes, so why are you saying that they are the problem?
But some of them choose themselves.
my friend,
Eh.
we have had histories of people who chose themselves until they ceased to be in power. I'm simply trying to say that the situation that pertains to citizens in a country, those who they elect have a role to play. Those who do the electing also have a role.
Now, this is what I'm trying to say. The problem of every country, including America and Venezuela, is the leadership. It's not the citizens.
Okay, let's start with Venezuela.
Hey.
Tell me how the...
I'm just no. I wanted to say every country, inclling and not limited
and
to.
I'm saying, but what is the problem with Venezuela? Where's the leadership
It's
problem?
the leadership.
What do you mean the leadership, Paul? How is the leadership of Venezuela? How are they a problem to their people?
What do you mean? They're the ones who run the state, or the affairs of their state.
Yes.
They're the ones who decide which countries to collaborate with and which ones to be adversarial with.
And they would do so very well if America had not determined to just keep interfering with them.
But
not from Maduro, just from that. Yes.
But America is not the only country that has got vested interest in that country.
No. America has been vested interest. The moment you talk about the global economy, everybody has a vested interest in one country or the other.
Exactly.
But the people... From the time of Hugo Chavez, America has done everything within its power to destabilize that country. It did not start yesterday.
So that we can get back to the issue of Somalia and Somaliland. What I'm trying to say is, leadership is integral in deciding what happens in that party. Even you as a leader in your own home, you have the power to decide what happens in that particular house.
You have the power to suggest.
Yeah. But also you have the power to influence, because if things do not go your way, as the leader, people have to face consequences.
You see, now that's a dictator speaking.
It is not a dictator speaking. And by the way, when I say consequences, I don't mean that now you become the bully, slap people around. No, you even have the option of walking away. That is still a consequence of leadership.
Paul, that's why I talked about a suggestion, for the simple reason that when you suggest, you can then have a discussion on what it is that you want.
So now,
as opposed to making it a fait accompli, where what you say is what must go.
Not necessarily. But for the people of Somalia, that entire country of Somalia, whether we're talking about Somaliland or Jubaland or Somalia, the leadership have got the opportunity to sit down and talk and just say, look guys, which is the fastest way for prosperity for our people? The fastest way. If they just
they have been talking. Oh, Paul, if only you knew.
Quinny, how long does this talking take? How long does this talking take?
Let me take the view that you actually don't understand.
Yeah.
What happens when a country goes into civil war, and what it takes to actually get people to be thinking as a unit as opposed to clans.
Yeah.
Okay. And what also happens to a country that has a very sizable population of their people in two countries. Okay? There are very many Somalis in Ethiopia. There are very many Somalis in Kenya. All right? And they live in a certain geographical area, and it is known it is them who live there.
Yeah.
They were not involved in this fighting that brought about the disintegration of what was known as Somalia, the nation. Okay? But once there was that separation, there are always people who see an opportunity. And that's where what you suggested as the leadership, where people decide to present themselves there, and their people, they decide they're going to lead. Because, for instance, if I'm told there's some areas that are led by Al-Shabaab, nobody elected those people. They have the might, they have the power, and they decide they're going to take charge.
Yes.
And you're going to do what they tell you. Okay? I'm simply saying they have been talking for, I know this for a fact, for a very long time. But coalescing all the interests so that there's a commonality is a problem. And the problem is not the Somalis have a problem. No, the problem is other people interfere.
Yes.
See, we began this discussion with Israel. Israel is now exporting tension to that region. Okay? Now, but that is not me saying.
Yes.
Let me read something from Tammy Bruce, the Deputy U.S. Ambassador to the UN. Israel has chosen to project instability into the Horn of Africa, promote divisions, and create new sources of tensions in the region. This is from the East African. Okay? Qatar has an interest in that country. Okay? The Emiratis have an interest in that country. America has an interest in that country. Ethiopia has an interest in that country. We, as Kenya, have an interest in that country.
Yes.
They also border South Sudan. But South Sudan has so many problems, I don't think we'll count them in this particular equation. All I'm saying is they try. What you suggest is the ideal situation where people could sit and agree. All right? See, we're talking about ODM. And why don't they just sit and agree?
You know, there's something we said yesterday, and
Yes.
we said that during our issues, was it the post-election violence? What was it? I mean, it was the...
say it so that we can contextualize it. What did we say?
So when Kofi Annan came to Kenya, it was during the 08 situation, and from the very large conversation we had, what it was concluded was, when Condoleezza Rice came to Kenya, he just told our leaders, look guys, it's either you sort out your issues or we sort them out for you. And our leaders decided, and they came together and they did what they did. Right?
They didn't decide, they were pushed.
Yeah, exactly. But the decision came from that push.
There was a Secretary of State called Condoleezza Rice.
Yes.
See, I told you about it.
Yes.
Yes.
Sasa alikuja akaambia watu amueni ama tuwaamulie.
Yes, exactly.
Same thing also happens even on a small scale level. You're told, mi nakumbuka my mom used to come and see mimi na brother zangu tukichapana, and she would tell me, you guys decide or I'll decide for you. And sometimes she used to decide for all of us because she would punish all three of us. Equal measure. Kila mtu anakula viboko zake. So the next time you guys disagree, you'll disagree in the darkness before your mother finds out. What am I saying? These folks, if they wanted, they can actually decide because they know that everyone is skirting around them. You've spoken about the UAE, you've spoken about Israel, you talked about America and Kenya and so on and so forth. If these guys just realize, because they also have got their own vested interests, if they realize, look guys, we have all these things disturbing us, why don't we sort ourselves out first, then sell ourselves as a unit? Somalia will be very far.
Somalia was already far. It's a pity.
Yeah.
Oh, it was actually...
yeah.
The strifes that are brought into a country because people are fighting for interests that serve their purposes, the harm it does.
Yeah.
The harm it does.
Wacha tutafute siku tuongee juu ya Somalia vizuri. NASCOP dismisses faith healing claims and insists HIV has no cure. Now, the National AIDS and STI Control Program, NASCOP, has issued a firm warning against claims that HIV can be cured through faith healing or other non-medical means, saying such assertions are dangerous and threaten to undermine years of progress in controlling the disease. In a statement seen by Radio Generation, NASCOP said it had noted with serious concern recent public claims suggesting that faith-based interventions can cure HIV. The agency stressed that there is no cure for HIV, but emphasized that the virus can be effectively managed through lifelong antiretroviral therapy, ART. Yeah, so health officials warned that misleading claims about cures pose a real risk to people living with HIV, particularly if they lead patients to abandon or delay proven treatment. So, of course, they're talking about some of the recent claims by religious leaders of having healed certain ailments such as HIV, diabetes, cancer, and so on and so forth. Basically, what you've been told there, do not abandon your medicine in the name of faith healing because, yeah.
It's happened. This isn't the first time this has come up. I remember there was a time when there was similar meetings by the same evangelist in Kisumu. And there are very many people who claim that they had been healed.
Yeah.
People who are HIV positive. Since I worked in that field, those whom we knew, we asked them to come to be checked.
Yes.
I do not remember seeing one person who was
Have it been cured?
No, who was HIV. I did not. The thing you must remember about ARVs and what science has done from the advent of the early antiretrovirals is that there are certain processes you can follow that can reduce the viral load in your system to the point where upon testing it will not be detected. But it does not mean that you are not HIV positive. Just by the same token, those of us who live in sub-Saharan Africa, we all have malaria parasites in our system. But we do not exhibit the tendencies of being sick from malaria, but we have the parasites. Okay? Why? Because where we live, or rather we coexist with the creatures that are the transporters of this particular disease, yes, or this particular microbe. By the same token, it is important that somebody who claims to have been healed needs to go and be checked.
We also have individuals who go to witch doctors to be healed of certain ailments, including and not limited to HIV. People will go.
You remember Loliondo?
I remember Loliondo. Watu walikuwa wanapatiwa some magical elixir, and they were told that it would heal them of whatever disease they had.
People went there in numbers, Chief.
There was, and I think it's still there. Kulikuwa na stage OTC ilifunguliwa specifically for people who want to go to Loliondo, and they would be taken there into those by those mini buses. Wacha Nissan, kuna tungine tudogo zaidi. Tulikuwa tunaitwa aje tu Suzuki Maruti. Those Marutis would be packed, and they would fly all the way to Loliondo. And I remember I can't remember if it was KTN or NTV. They went there and they took videos of these very long lines of people waiting to be healed.
Long queues of vehicles.
Yes, and people. Mpaka kulikuanga na sehemu kwa msitu tu watu wamepatiwa nafasi ya kukaa na kulala, wakingojea kesho asubuhi wamuone yule daktari.
But that gentleman, I liked his process, the business model he had.
Yeah.
Because he was known to say that, he can give you the herbal concoction, but it's God who heals. He didn't come out and say, "Bas,
it is I
will heal you."
So the folks that go, and sometimes when you're sick, when you're unwell, when you're desperate, you can actually go to some very extreme measures to ensure that you are healed, or you are whatever baggage you have is lifted off you. But you need, at the end of the day, I usually say, you also need to be very rational in your thinking.
In the year 2005,
yeah,
Somaliland declared itself independent. Okay? But whatever it was that was understood when they talked with the state of Somalia, it was never ratified. Okay? The AU is tripping on its own tongue when it comes to this particular issue.
Yeah.
Because an entity that isn't African has now come in and has gone and recognized Somaliland.
Right.
Okay? But these are the makings of some interesting conversations in the not too distant future.
Yes, indeed. Like we said, we shall definitely have that conversation. Right now, though, let's check out what's happening on the roads of Nairobi.
Traffic.
Nikianza na sehemu za Kibera Low Courts. See, you guys are not looking bad at this particular hour. So basically, this is Kibera area. Cabernet Close is the name of the road. It's looking good right now. Ukielekea masehemu ya Mashimoni SDA Church, looking good at this particular hour. Southern Bypass, no complaints at all coming from you. You can let me know if indeed anything has changed as far as that is concerned. I'm looking at an aerial view of Langata Road. Also looking good at this particular hour. However, who are nashuku sometimes what is the activities taking place around this roundabout known as this is what Lusaka Road, Uhuru Highway, Langata Road roundabout, because I usually see traffic there, cops there as well, just standing by doing absolutely nothing. But like I say, maybe wanakuanga pale hivyo watege mtego wakupate. Dunga Road looking good at this particular minute. No complaints coming through as far as that is concerned. Let me zoom out and check out Mombasa Road. Mombasa Road, tukiangalia hapa sehemu ya Imara Diamond, where traffic is usually at a standstill this morning, it looks good. You guys are moving quite well from City Cabanas Hotel, heading towards the CBD and also heading towards Mlolongo. No complaints coming through. Airport North Road, yeah, there's a yellow line there. I'm assuming it's because you're slowing down as you're approaching the superhighway. So things are not looking bad as far as that is concerned. Having a close look also at Outer Ring Road. Outer Ring Road, saizi inakaa iko sawa. However, a few pockets of traffic, especially if you're around the Feather Mosque. A few pockets of traffic there as you're heading towards Allsops. But on the opposite side of the road, heading towards the Airport North Road, it's actually looking good at this particular hour. Let's stretch it out all the way to Thika Superhighway. Yes, looking good at this particular hour. Only complaint I can see, if at all it is a complaint, actually none at all. Barabara ukielekea sehemu za Thika iko sawa kabisa. However, if you're coming back towards Pangani, a little bit of traffic around that Muthaiga area, but we all know it's because everyone is converging there, coming all the way from Muthaiga, Gigiri na kule kwingine kwote ambako watu wanaelekea CBD kufanya kazi. Now if I zoom out and check out Mombasa is looking good this particular minute actually, apart from pale hivyo mkielekea katika ferry. Hapo ndio mambo yanakuja kushikamana kidogo, lakini zaidi ya hapo mko sawa kabisa. Anything changes, please holla at a brother.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
Front page of the Daily Nation, they're saying betrayal, that's a question. Ruto Moi deal falters. What pact apparently entailed. This is what we were talking about just before the by-elections. And they are saying that, number one, state jobs. A plum position for Mr. Gideon Moi or his ally, as well as appointment of some KANU loyalists as principal secretaries and ambassadors. So that hasn't happened. And then, number two, 3 billion shillings in debts. Settlement of nearly 3 billion the government owes companies linked to Mr. Moi and his family. So apparently hiyo ijalipwa. And then number 3, Baringo race. Mr. Moi pulled out of the Baringo senatorial by-election, handing President Ruto's UDA candidate a walkover.
So they are reading mischief into it, is it?
Yeah, of course. And this is what the Daily Nation is saying. Political games is a question they're asking. A studious silence from the state, an absence of appointments, and a growing unease within KANU have reignited questions over whether a political pact between President William Ruto and KANU chairman Gideon Moi, entered just days to the Baringo Senate contest, ever truly took off, or if it has already unraveled. That story is on page 4 and 5. Intern tutors planned jobs strike to hit junior schools. This is on page 10. So apparently, learning in public junior schools across the country is set to face severe disruption starting next week after about 20,000 intern teachers announced weekly demonstrations to demand permanent jobs. The interns, whose contracts were recently extended by another 12 months, will be joined by their 46,000 permanent colleagues. Kenya Junior School Teachers Association chairperson James Odhiambo confirmed that the protests will be held every Tuesday until the government acts. Let me see. So their contract has been extended by 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they are saying that's not enough, so they will strike every Tuesday until the government says, okay. Sawa. Tutawapatia hii kitu permanent and pensionable.
We are living in a time when that is slowly but very surely being outdated, and the terms of employment are contractual.
Yeah.
The time when people were employed permanently and pensionably, so to speak.
Yes.
That time is fast fading, man. Yep. Yep.
All right. On another story here, costly rampage. Parents to pay for strike damages in schools. This is according to the courts. Parents of Litain Boys High School have been ordered to pay 69 million to cover damages caused by students during a strike last year. 69M. Hapa mtafanya harambee siku kadhaa.
Perhaps I would ask.
Yes.
Is there confirmation that the damage was 69?
Worth 69 million.
Yes, exactly. How have they quantified that?
Going by this headline, I can tell you for sure, if it indeed cost them 69 million, they will have to do several harambees to cover this cost. Shadow men inside elite military units that keep the dogs of war at bay. Now, there are soldiers whose names we know and soldiers whose names we never will. And then there are those rare warriors who live in the seam between the two, and whose deeds are carried in the quiet breath between nations. This story is on page 3. IDA and trustees step in to avert ODM implosion. After weeks of intense internal squabbling, the ODM Board of Trustees, appointed by the late party leader Raila Odinga, has stepped in to save the 20-year-old party from running aground. Is on page 8. And then how the legendary Amboseli elephant Craig got his name. That story is on page 2.
It's all right.
Last but not least, on the Standard newspaper, front page, rigged system fears. Kenya's disputed 2017 and 2022 polls are back under scrutiny after a U.S. court filing thrust Smartmatic, the supplier of Kim's gadgets, into fresh controversy. A former Venezuelan intelligence chief claims the company's system was designed to alter outcomes, amplifying local fears already stoked in 2022 by the Jose Camargo episode, or is it Jose Camargo episode, when Raila Odinga's team cited the results from showing his name as an overlay as evidence of interference. Now, the opposition is now demanding full disclosure from the IEBC ahead of 2027, warning Kenya risks a repeat of the vifaranga via computer claims where results were blamed on back-end systems rather than voters. Yeah. Now, they're saying here Smartmatic allegations. A former Venezuelan military intelligence chief has alleged in a U.S. court that Smartmatic technology was deliberately designed to manipulate election outcomes under Nicolas Maduro. Opposition leaders allege that the electronic voting and results transmission systems previously used by the IBC are vulnerable to manipulation and lack sufficient transparency. Opposition claims that reliance on foreign election technology limits local oversight, particularly over software ownership, server access, and data storage. And then last but not least, the opposition wants that unless these issues are addressed early, the credibility of the 2027 general election could be compromised. Yep. That's as far as the Standard and the Daily Nation are concerned. Sasa tufanyeje?
Kuhusu sasa tuangalie Star News. Gachagua in fresh political storm after series of gaffes. This is on page 7. You'd wonder, nini? Well, I don't know. Former deputy president is under fire for suggesting top national schools in Mount Kenya region should prioritize students from that region.
Yeah.
Nilikuwa
hiyo jamaa ataweka tu kwa shida.
Sawa.
Nilikakwambia huyu jamaa ataweka tu kwa shida. Kadhani na kudanganya. All right. What else is on the paper?
Right, that one. And then they're saying everyday realities facing Kenyans who depend on public facilities. No medicine, no doctors inside crisis in hospitals. Some of the troubled hospitals: Nyanza, Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital, Upper Eastern, Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital, Lower Eastern, Machakos County Referral Hospital, Rift Valley, Kapsabet County Referral Hospital in Nandi County, Northwestern, Banisa Sub-County Hospital, Kajiado, Rift Valley, Ngong Sub-County Level 4 Hospital Central, Engineer County Level 4 Hospital in Nyandarua. Then they are saying Shidaiko, mingi
sana.
Right. How Oburu's cattle Sefuna removal plot. We've already mentioned that in passing.
Yes.
Money and fears forcing mothers into C-section. This one I need to read. Caesarean births are becoming more common in Kenya, but a new Google analysis suggests that many of these surgeries are driven less by medical needs and more by money, fear, and weak health systems. The WHO says C-sections should make up to 10% to 15% of all births because there is no health benefit beyond that level. Right. Then, back in the middle of the paper, this is something we need to bother about. Crippling drought expected to enter alert level. Yes. We are seeing problems in some of the places like Modagasha, like Dera constituency, Shantabak.
Did you say Modagasha or Modogashi?
Modogasha.
Okay.
It's Modogashi.
Modogashi.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Gurufa in Garissa County. Balambala. It is actually Bala, then Mbala. Okay? all these areas in Isiolo and in Garissa County are having problems. Iko shida.
Okay.
So hiyo shida lazima itatuliwe. How Mendi Njonjo, this is the big read, is reframing corporate citizenship in Kenya. The KCB Foundation. KCB Foundation have done wonderful things over time.
Yes.
Wonderful in the sense that, remember how we talk about someone getting a training and then the value add that now makes it possible for them to ply trade, the trade they've learned, in order that they can make a living out of it, a sustainable living.
Yes.
Well, the KCB Foundation has been doing this for a very long time. Mendi Njonjo has been overseeing these projects.
Good for them.
Oh, it's wonderful, my friend. It's a wonderful thing that they do. Let me look at the Business Daily briefly.
Okay.
Chap chap, as we say.
20 kazi.
20 kazi. Exporters eye Trump tariff relief with AGOA renewal prospects. One. Equity Corp owes state 457 million on failed schemes. Construction mining lifts economy in the third quarter of 2025. Companies in fastest hiring pace since 2019 as demand holds. Okay, Kenyan firms ended 25 with the strongest hiring performance in more than 6 years. A sustained demand pushed companies to expand employment, a pace that was last seen before the COVID-19 epidemic. Back in the middle of the paper, fresh chance for U.S. firm in Mombasa Expressway deal. The government first halted the project in 2019 on debt fears.
Yep.
Proposals back to feasibility study raising a revival of hopes. Let me just read briefly. The American investors behind the Nairobi Mombasa Expressway have been sent back to the drawing board, where they are now expected to prepare fresh project development report to demonstrate the bankability of the 468 billion public-private partnership. Sawa. So punde, before it becomes a complete and full punde, we may have these investors working on the Mombasa Nairobi highway. So
punde.
Yes, if they actually complete it, it will not just be the highway.
Right.
It may be the super highway. Right.
Tuko sawa. You need Business Daily, sivyo?
Then I want to look at the East African.
Please do.
There's something very interesting happening, okay?
Yeah.
Kenya's sweetener to sugar importers. Nairobi has opened the market to COMESA. Well, the understanding is that we don't produce enough sugar to meet the demand that we have in the country.
Yeah.
So what we do from time to time, we make it possible by ensuring that around 30 or 40% of what we need is imported from COMESA. Herein now lies the con. And I'm using the word con deliberately.
Okay.
Because it is said it is COMESA. Who is it who tells us exactly the origin of the sugar that comes into the country, so that we can determine that the sugar actually comes from COMESA? Is it published? Do we know? And if people are importing sugar from these places, is it the countries of COMESA exporting to us, or is it business people in Kenya buying sugar in the COMESA areas and bringing it in?
Okay.
Just a simple question. Right.
But Siti, when you say the COMESA community bringing that sugar into Kenya, or is it Kenya buying it? Isn't it one and the same thing?
No, it is not.
Because we need to buy it for it to.
It is not.
We need to create the demand.
There may be people who export sugar to Kenya. It is the business. The business is in COMESA and they export sugar to us. All right? Now, there are people who probably get the sugar here because that is the deal they have with those people. But then there are businessmen in Kenya who go to the COMESA countries, buy the sugar, and then bring it back. It's a different thing. Yes.
So that means in the second case, there is no demand.
No, there may be demand, but let me explain what I'm saying. I am saying, let me now make this discussion complete so that we understand each other. I am not clear about this demand that we speak of. I'm also not clear about why it is the sugar factories we have, even though they've increased, cannot meet the demand. Okay, number one. Number two, I have never seen documentation that justifies this need to buy from COMESA. It's been the narrative that has been consistent for the longest time. All these years, from around the 1960s until now, we are still not able to produce enough sugar to meet our needs. I find it strange. Leave it there.
Okay.
Then, when you talk about the importation of sugar, this is where the beef comes in. There are countries who grow sugar in a manner that is quite different from us. Kanana in Sudan here grows it on hundreds and hundreds of acres. Okay. The economies of scale works for them. Brazil does the same thing. There are countries in the Caribbean who do the same thing. This sugar that we buy, the white sugar we put in our tea and coffee, is not the main product. They use it, they take the alcohol. They use it for industrial purposes. They use it for medicinal purposes. They use it in the making of alcohol for consumption, human consumption. Okay? That's where the real money market is. So the residue, what we call white sugar, is something that is sold for pittance. And it's either dumped into the sea or it is in the high seas and you can bring it in and claim it is from Comesa. Probably it just needs to dock in a place or in a port that is within the Comesa region and you can say it's from Comesa. And I am saying it may not be from Comesa. That is what I am saying.
Okay. Sawa.
So much ado about Somaliland. Maritime security, hosting of Palestinians, oil and gas among stakes, causing storm in Israel, recognition of Somali breakaway state. And then there's a picture of one gentleman called Robert Gulanyi, otherwise known as Bobby of the Wine, of the National United Platform, addressing supporters at a campaign rally in Kampala on December 15th, and is wearing a riot protection helmet. Burundi forces in AU mission despite exit. UN red tape declares deployment of Egyptian troops meant to take its bases in Somalia. Ruto seeks a unit to police Kenyan's online president. The presidential report before MPs propose formation of a digital intelligence unit to patrol the digital space. That is what we have for you in the East African. But there's always the news. This I will read for you tomorrow.
Okay. Sawa. Acha nisome hapa hivi. Kuna jamaa amesema Happy New Year. Amesema kahawa ya leo from Motiso. Namba yake inakaa imetoka kule United States of America kule kwa kina Trump, ambako sasa ni Maduro amekufanya kukue nyumbani kwake. But yes, thank you so much, Mr. Motiso, for tuning in. There's a few shout outs I want to give you before I get back into what we were just reading. But there's Wanjala who's saying Happy New Year, good morning CT and Paul, tuning in from Tuda. John Mutu amesema niko tuned in, asante sana John. Then there's John Nguge, good morning RG. Bring the lady you had yesterday discussing Maduro's abduction. It was such an eye-opener. John Ngugi, thank you so much. We are...
bring her next week.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely see how we can fit her in. She's also a busy lady, eh? Yeah.
No, we spoke and she can come
she agreed.
Next week.
Yes, indeed. Then we have Abdi Malik Mohammed. Amesema Somalia is already federal. It's just that one federal member state, Somaliland, is being outrageous and seeks independence. Israel is taking advantage of this. Yeah. Hosea Koech, if you remember well, this is Daktari. Good morning, good people. I love your show, gentlemen, listening from South Carolina. Hosea, thank you so much. Motovia, anasema good morning, CT and Movie. Does the government know something about the molecular prophet, which we don't? Molecular prophet. All right. Who is this molecular prof?
The prophet Owur.
Yes.
I think studied some molecular science at some point. Yes.
Okay. All right.
In fact, I believe he was a research scientist, if I'm not wrong, before he got the calling.
Right.
Yes.
But the prophet, this molecular prophet that he's been... Aliwanga based Raila. Because I remember Raila used to go to... Or rather, at one point, I remember he was even baptized by... Prophet Ugo.
Alikuwa best ya watu wengi.
Yeah.
Si watu wanasema hata Maduro.
Yeah. Hata Maduro. Ni kuna mtu alisema ati aliwaambia Maduro asikamatwe na US. Na alipomaliza maombi hivi Amerika wakalani.
The things people say, man.
Yeah. So anyway, the government knows a lot about a lot of people, Mr. Motodia. So perhaps they know something about the prophet that we don't know. Njuki Mungai amesema it's 2026 and people still believe in magic potions and shady miracles. Well, Njuki, you'd be shocked at what people still believe in 2026, including magic potions and magic elixirs and so much. Have you ever been so desperate, Njuki? This is news to you. Have you ever been so desperate that you even go down on your knees and tell God that if He does something for you, you will stop a particular addiction or vice that you have in your life?
Yes.
People are very.
Yes.
People would go to
great lengths
to ensure that they achieve what they need to achieve. And especially when I usually don't blame people who are sick, and for example, the people who go to these altars to be prayed for, ambao wanaenda kwa waganga, ambao wanaenda kwa warogi, especially to be cured of things such as cancer, because we have seen what cancer has done to families, what diabetes has done to people, what other ailments, Parkinson's, dementia that we've been talking about on this show. And I get the desperation. What I do not like is the people taking advantage of that desperation. The people will pray for you legitimately. Yes, they will not promise you heaven on earth. They won't even promise you a cure, but they'll just pray for you so that things can be better for you. But those ones who promise a cure, knowing very well hakuna kitu wanakufanyia, those ones, hao ndio niko na shida na wao.
Ni wakora.
George Buyo anasema asubuhi ya kufana bwana Muga na Mbuvi. Asante sana George. 2.0 anasema Sifuna, the former Secretary General of ODM, even said Western Kenya doesn't need...
He's not the former Secretary General, he is the Secretary General of ODM.
Yeah, I'm just reading what has been written. Sifuna,
well, I'm just informing that individual.
Yes. Sifuna, the former Secretary of ODM, even said Western Kenya doesn't need SGR. Yesterday, instead of articulating party issues, he talks about Nether regions. Sawa. Kahawa Tiso anasema hello. I have been wondering for a long time. Kahawa, what have you been wondering? Oh yeah, you're wondering, are there wild animals or a national park in Somalia? They do have forests. Or rather, are you asking if they do have forests? I believe they must have. Some.
There was a time they had the distinction.
Yeah.
Of being some of the largest exporters of ivory.
Yes. And
the miracle was an absence of the producers of ivory. Yes, so one wondered.
Yeah. Where did they get this ivory?
Right, like we have been a net exporter of gold for the longest time.
Yes.
And yet we don't know of any gold mines that actually function within the country, or do we?
Yeah.
The artisan mining that takes place, that, my friend, is...
Siti, are you okay? No, nikaona jinyonga.
No.
Oh.
I am sorting out my shirt.
Okay.
Yes. The artisan mining that we see in places like Migori are not industrial scale mining, so they don't really tip any scale.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Somali ambassador, His Excellency Jabril, did invite us actually to go to Somalia and just check it out. He said, come see what is available in terms of, number one, opportunities. Also, just get to see this place that you keep on hearing on CNN and Al Jazeera. See it for yourself. Instead of being told, oh, these people are being killed by these people, or bombs being dropped here by Al-Shabaab, or Sharia law this, Sharia law that. He said, come see for yourselves.
I agree with him completely. We will take him up on that invitation.
Yeah. So, Mheshimiwa Jabril, if you're listening to this, just know City and I can't wait. Yeah, we come and take pictures there. Brian Washira amesema mambo wazito. Then there's Simon Mwihu amesema salimia Elder City. Elder City, salamu zikufikia tafadhali.
Asante sana.
And then Brian Washira amesema I want white hair. It looks good.
It will come.
He wants white hair. It looks really good. Here's the news with Winnie Maganga. When we do return, of course, there's a conversation we're just about to get into. So if you are interested in that, see you shortly.
Generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority has announced that investigations into the fatal shooting of a 14-year-old grade 6 pupil in Mombasa are at an advanced stage. In a statement on January 6, 2026, IPOA said it launched investigations following the death of Dennis Ringa Swale, who was shot on New Year's Eve at Utange Swale Nguru Shopping Center in Kisauni Sub-County, Mombasa County. The probe was formally opened on January 2nd, 2026, days after the incident that shocked residents and sparked public outrage. At least 31 people have been killed in road accidents nationwide in the first 6 days of the year, after 8 additional fatalities were recorded on Tuesday in separate crashes in Kericho and Baringo counties. In Kericho County alone, 6 people died in one incident, while 25 others who sustained injuries are undergoing treatment at the Kericho County Referral Hospital. Survivors reported that the bus involved in the crash was being driven at a high speed when the accident occurred.
Alikuwa na concentrate kwa simu, anachiu. Watu walikuwa na complain ndani ya gari vile alikuwa anapita kwa bumps, but alikuwa anasema tu sorry, like ni kitu yenye alikuwa na ignore.
Ile kitu ningeomba ni kwamba madereva wafuate sheria za barabarani, kwa sababu kuna alama za barabara ambayo inaonyesha ni area ambayo iko na mteremko na iko na kona kali.
3 Nigerian nationals who confessed to possessing drugs worth 1,400 have been sentenced to 5 years each by a Nairobi court. The foreigners were convicted after pleading guilty to charges of drug possession and unlawful presence in Kenya. The court also imposed fines of up to 5 million Kenya shillings and ordered their repatriation upon completion of their sentences.
In accordance with the mandatory sentence stipulated under Section 3, subsection 2B of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, this court therefore proceeds to sentence the first, second, and third accused person to a fine of 5 million shillings each, in default an imprisonment term of 5 years each. In count number 3, the fourth and fifth accused persons are hereby sentenced to a fine of 15,000 shillings each, in default to serve an imprisonment term of 6 months each.
The government may be forced to seek alternative funding sources for senior secondary school education if 22.5 billion Kenya shillings debt accumulated in 2025 is settled using current capitation disbursement. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro says clearing the arrears from the 26 billion Kenya shillings released this year will significantly strain resources meant for learners. He argues that settling the debt will leave only 3.5 billion Kenya shillings to be shared among students nationwide.
This 26 billion shillings is for which term? And this is a very consequential question, even the principals are asking. Because by the close of the academic year of 2025, the government had arrears of capitations for only senior secondary in day schools of 22.5 billion Kenya shillings. And therefore it means the government only released 3.5 billion shillings for the first term, which amounts to around 109 shillings per learner in our senior secondary schools.
U.S. President Donald Trump has said Venezuela will be turning over up to 5 million barrels of oil to the U.S. after a surprise military operation that removed President Nicolas Maduro from power. The oil will be sold at its market price, Trump posted on social media, adding that the money will be controlled by himself and used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the U.S. His comments come after he said the U.S. oil industry will be up and running in Venezuela within 18 months. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generations, the people's breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The people's breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor!
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. If you're joining us for the first time in Garissa, we are happy to have you with us. This is the home of hard truths and bold insights, the people's breakfast indeed, with myself, Mungala Moving, and CT Muga. CT, kuna jamaa ametuambia hapa hivi, anaitwa Abdi Malik Mohammed. Abdi Malik Mohammed is saying Somalia has a Bushle. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Bushle National Park just across the border in Jubaland, but the animals have migrated due to the civil war. And I don't know if he's being facetious or he's actually very serious about this situation.
Remember, the boundaries that we have or we create are understood by those of us. Well, we didn't actually create them, but we inherited them.
Right.
The animals don't have a similar understanding.
That's why we have wildebeest crossing between Kenya and Serengeti.
And
Tanzania.
They are not aware that there's anything called the Mara or the Serengeti. They're not aware.
Them, they're just following their food.
And every time we talk about the conflict that arises between human beings and animals, the truth is that we are the ones who are the aggressors. They were there before us.
Totally agree. In studio, we do have our guest for this hour. We want to focus on the back-to-school season that we're in. And of course, just talk about a little bit of Kenya's education headache, which we started yesterday with the chairperson for the central region of the Parents Association. But today we have a lawyer and a national secretary of Kethawa. He's a former CECM for education as well in Nyandarua County. He's not new to the show, but he's new this year. We're talking about Ndungu Wangenye. Mheshimiwa, karibu sana to Radio Generation.
Thank you, Mr. Kioko, and thank you also, CT.
Glad to have you with us.
I'm also happy to be with you here today.
Yes.
We just met last year.
Yeah.
And we thank God that we have crossed the new year, and I'm happy to see you are grinning. You are actually looking good.
Let me tell you.
CT is also gracing and aging graciously. That is good.
Let me tell you something about the festive season.
Yes.
Ukienda nyumbani, umekuwa kufanya kazi mwaka mzima, unaenda ushago, unapatana na shosho na kupatia vitu anakulisha. You come back looking like a baby.
Yeah. Actually, you look like one.
I look like a baby, eh? Thank you so much.
It's a second bond, second rebirth.
Now, let's talk about our education.
Yes.
Because, we've headlined it. It's a headache. Yesterday, we had a conversation here with someone from the Parents Association, Dr. Maina. And Dr. Maina did highlight to us something that troubled me. I didn't know about this. That apparently we don't have a syllabus for grade 10. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this or you can confirm or deny, but is it that bad as far as this grade 10 issue is concerned?
I don't think so, because last week I had a meeting with the CEO of the Kenya National Examinations Council, Dr. Jengere.
Yes.
And, Dr. Jengere, before becoming the CEO of the Kenya National Examinations Council, he was also the director of Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD.
Yes.
Initially, it used to be called KIE. Currently, is the one that is in charge of development of syllabus and curriculum, what is to be learned. Let's see, basically what there is. There is a little bit, there is a gap, so to speak, between the curriculum developers, that is the KICD.
Right.
The teachers who are supposed to disseminate that curriculum, and the parents. And you'll find that majority of parents, even today, as you ask them, what is CBC or what is CBE, so to speak, most of them have very shallow knowledge of what is it all about. And even the teachers, particularly those, because now, take an example of senior school, which has both Form 4s and Form 3 this year. But now there'll be no Form 2 this year, but there will be grade 10.
Yes.
So the teacher are also mixed in between the syllabus for the old system, the 844, that will be continue for Form 3s and Form 4s. And also, they are supposed also to teach the syllabus of grade 10, which is now coming. They are reporting, I think, next week on Monday, on 12th.
Yes.
So when you look at that teacher, it's also torn in between. Which curriculum, which syllabus should this stick to my head? Because in the morning session, I have lessons for Form 3s and 4, the old syllabus.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, I have a session for grade 10, the new syllabus.
Okay.
So I think that is a confusion that is coming in. But what I can confirm and I can say authoritatively, because we had a lengthy talk with the CEO, actually in his office in South Sea, he confirmed to me that all the systems have already been rolled out. But the point at which each and every stakeholder in education is supposed to comprehend and understand it and internalize it fully, we have not yet reached there. Because even the teachers are also undergoing retooling so that their mentality and their mindset is aligned to the new curriculum. Because they are still, some of them maybe still be in the old curriculum of 844. And that is why, like this December, there was, I think, a whole 2 weeks or so to retool the teachers. The programs were going on. Actually, I managed to visit some of them.
Okay.
I was also in the charge of monitoring of some of the national exams in Nyamira County. I was in Nyamira County for about 3 weeks, so to speak, monitoring the national exam. And I could tell immediately after the exams were over, the teachers rolled back to retooling in the respective centers so that their mindset is aligned to the new curriculum and the new setup. So most of parents will agree they may not be aware of what is going on, but the curriculum and the syllabus is in place.
Now, there was confusion also in terms of the pathways
that
the students are supposed to take. So there's, the sports pathway, there's an arts pathway, there's a STEM pathway. Even I am not really familiar with all these pathways, but I know there are pathways that students are supposed to follow so that they can, get to the very end of this curriculum. And some schools, some parents rather were complaining of the resources available in these schools. So, for example, as a student, your student might, or rather your son, your daughter might have been called to a school that has a STEM pathway, for instance, but they do not have enough laboratories. So how do we teach these students in STEM, yet the very basic equipment and resources they need for STEM are not available in some of the schools?
Let me tell you something, Kyoko, and it's good we get this straight and we get it right. Huh?
Right.
Before a school could be accredited to offer a certain pathway, there was an assessment that was done. And an assessment is usually done by the Quality Assurance and Standards Office that is based in Jogo House. There is a whole directorate in charge of quality assurance and standards. And one of the core pathway that was to be offered by all senior schools, all of them actually, was a STEM. That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Bearing in mind that is where the world is moving. The world is moving towards technology. The world is moving about innovation. The world is about sciences. You also understand, and you'll also bear with me, that there has been massive investment in senior secondary. The initial now high schools. There has been a massive investment, particularly from the government. And that one started all the way when we also said that the junior secondary school will be domiciled in secondary school. There was even construction of extra laboratory. My own son is here in one of the schools in Nairobi school. And in fact, when there was a change of policy that the junior secondary school be domiciled in primary, there were massive investment that was left unoccupied. Actually, most of the classes and most of the laboratories, the principals were forced to convert them to something else because now the grade, now the senior secondary, that is now from grade 10, grade 9 and 8 was supposed to be domiciled there. Immediately a student could finish KGCSE at grade 6. Grade 7, 8 and 9 was supposed to be in secondary school. So all that massive investment was left idle. And now, that is why the government decided that every single senior school must offer a STEM pathway, because all of them. So now what varies is this. What varies is in school A, let's say for example, let me give an example like a school called Kangumo. I used to teach in that school sometimes back in Laikipia West.
All right.
Kangumo is a small day secondary school. But before I left that school way back in around 2013, that school we had, because it had started as a day school through CDF, it had 2 laboratories. Now, by the time the introduction of CBC was coming, it had introduced the 3rd laboratory because of anticipation that the junior secondary school will be domiciled there. So what will vary now is how many students are we supposed to admit so that to fit facilities that are there in school vis-a-vis the facilities now we have. So that if a school is supposed to have an enrollment of about, let's say, Form 1, 200 students,
Yes.
and the facilities that are there are for 100 students, then we would say the 100 extra students will be disadvantaged. So what we would narrow and and make sure that it happens appropriate. It is to make sure that if a student has facilities for 100 students in form of laboratories and other equipments that are needed for the STEM pathway, then let them admit only 100 students. Let them not try to reinnovate or to reinvent the wheel and admit 150, because the 50 extra students will now have no facilities to learn. And we want the senior secondary. You know, that is where CT will bear as witness, because I think he's in the other system of from O levels and A levels.
Yes.
CT will tell us at A level, that is where specialization started before you go to university. In fact, it is Form 5 and 6 that a student at that particular time during their time would know now, I'm going to university to do mad people combination. That is mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Like some of us, we did that.
Okay.
It's that a student would realize, I'm going now to university to do social science, law, whatever, journalism and all that. Humanities, exactly. It is at that time a student would know, I'm going to university to do engineering, isn't it? So, it is the same way this time around, that at senior school, that is where now a student has started the specialization. And the line he has taken at senior school, even going to university, there will be no change. It translate to that. So if a student has gone to STEM at senior school, it will translate to STEM even at university. He will only be now narrowing down to a specific discipline, maybe medicine, engineering, and all that.
What if a student has a change of heart after high school? Because, I mean, we are allowed to have a change of heart and even a change of passion. I might have started on a STEM pathway, but then get to the very end and realize, you know what, there's this uncle of mine I have seen. He's a great musician, and he's actually, doing very well as a musician, and I also have that talent in music. You know what? I think I want to be like Uncle Mbuvi. Let me do music.
But you see, talent is different from professionalism.
Yeah.
Mbuvi,
I will get into the
university. I may be talented in music, but professionally I'm an advocate of High Court of Kenya. I may be talented. You see, we even have people who are engineers by profession.
Yes.
But they are very good in sports.
However, that's why I'm saying.
But again, I get what you are saying.
Yeah.
But again, it will be a long change. It's like changing the flight,
Midway.
when it is airborne.
Yeah.
You cannot change the route when it is already airborne. You should have, it has to land back, then take off afresh to the route it intended to, destination it intended to land.
Okay.
Because and that is why it had to take a lot of time.
Yes.
Because you see, even in the assessment bit, Buvi, look at the assessment that placed a student in a certain discipline or this certain pathway.
Yes.
It started with how many marks did you score in KIPSEA? Isn't it? That is the one that you did in grade 6.
Yes.
How much did you score?
Was it 30%?
It was supposed to be, I think, 20%.
20, okay.
It is also how much did you score in school-based assessment, SBA, because it is continuous. Everything you are doing is being tabulated and documented.
Okay.
And then how much did you score in KIJSEA? Are we together? So it is you have been built over a period of time. So if there was change, the change should have happened. However, maybe you can say, I've changed all this much and now I want to change midway. You'll be forced then to go back to where you started so that you start afresh.
Okay.
So that is why it is said that it is not a one-off exam that will replace you, because that is what we used to make a lot of mistakes. And Buvi, bear me witness.
Yes.
We had a cadre of students, particularly in the old system of 844,
Right.
who would be admitted in university to do, let's say, architecture.
Yes.
And then when the lads in University of Nairobi of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, he realizes that architecture is a very hard subject.
Right.
I mean hard course for him to venture and qualify and be and qualify as an architecture in this country.
Okay.
So midway, he goes back to university and says, no, I want to change. I want to do, let's say, education, arts. Okay? So that student maybe have started 1 year in university. So he'll be forced to transfer again and go to Kikuyu campus, University of Nairobi, that offer B.Ed Art,
Yes.
and start another 1 year. In fact, the massive investment that the government had done for the 1 year he was doing architecture in University of Nairobi in the main campus here in
Yes.
town, that money may have to go to waste, so that now the parent can now shoulder the balance and go back to Kikuyu campus so that he starts B.Ed Arts
Okay.
to do sociology and any other
Course.
discipline or course he intending to do. So that is what was intended to be prevented. That this is a build-up of a period of time, and you have started this child right from school-based assessment, KIPSEA, and now KIJISEA, with those 3 forms of assessment.
Yes.
Because like school-based assessment is continuous. These are continuous assessment tests that you keep on doing every year. Year in, year out, term in, term out. Those are the channels that are telling us now Kioko is a very good journalist. So why can't he go and major in journalism when he goes to senior school? So in case he decides to change at that time, then is a wrong change midway that the brain will even crash. You'll even crash.
going back to this whole situation of the pathways again. Another pathway that I understand people are also taking is one in sports. I do not know how. Okay, make me understand. If today, I'm assuming I'm a student, right? So here is Mbuvi, a student. Mbuvi decides he's a very good sprinter. So I will be called to a school that will teach me just sports, or what exactly is going to happen?
You know, Mbuvi, there was also this debate of mathematics, so that I combine with your question.
Yes.
The debate of mathematics,
Right.
whether mathematics should be offered in senior school or not.
Yes.
And there was uproar. Even, in fact, it came from parents themselves that mathematics should be compulsory. And that is elementary mathematics, so to
Right.
speak, not comprehensive mathematics,
Okay.
or pure mathematics that some of us did in university. Then you have asked the question of maybe the sports. The sporting activity. You know, the sporting activity is not just waking up and running up and down in the morning.
Yes.
There is also the intellectual bit of the sporting. Because they have so many forms of sports.
Right.
You have only mentioned running or
Yeah,
maybe
I
football.
took an example.
That is just one area of sporting.
Yes.
But even as you run, even our athletes that, keep on shining our flags and lifting our flags in the foreign countries and abroad,
Yes.
they need some form of intellectual capacity. Mind you, most of those learners, they also went through all the way up to Form 4. In fact, they did KCSE and scored whichever grades they scored. Are we together?
True.
So that does not mean the only now difference here in now the CBE or the CBC, as you may call it. CBC is a curriculum, CBE is a form of education.
Yes.
The only difference is that now this student now who is good in a certain discipline of a sport will now be able to dedicate more time training on sports. Are we together? As he also comprehends other bits of other discipline learning, because you need to learn languages, literacy.
Yes.
You know, literacy is because even if you travel outside the country, you need to be.
You need to read and write.
You need to read and write. He also has to learn numericals. That is mathematics. That is why mathematics was reintroduced again in senior school. You need to learn some basics concept of maybe history, humanities, some geography. You know, because even when he's traveling, he need to know, where am I going? Where is Brazil?
Yeah.
Maybe the next Olympics is in United States of America, Los Angeles. He need to know even where is Los Angeles.
What I've never understood,
Yes.
why was there suggestion that mathematics should be removed in senior school? I've never understood the logic. What was the logic?
I think the designers of the curriculum, it was an oversight, City, if I may confess. I think it was an oversight. And I was one of the agitators, a proponent.
How
of
can that be an
mathematics.
oversight?
The
How?
thinking, I'm not defending them.
No. I want to understand the thinking, because you are introducing new subjects or you are formatting what exists and you are giving it what we now refer to as pathways. There is a subject that has been fundamental and a core subject of learning for the longest possible time and with good reason. And then someone decides that this should not be included. You see, if it was an oversight, the debate wouldn't have lasted, because it would just have been, sorry, it was an oversight, we're back. But there were people trying to defend it, and this is what I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
What are you defending exactly?
Actually, I was one of the proponents as a mathematician. I was actually one of the proponents that said, no, mathematics must be there and not the pure mathematics, the elementary mathematics. And even in university, even those of us who are doing, some of my colleagues who are doing FAS, we used to call it FAS, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, that is BA. They used to do general mathematics in first year and second year. Actually, they would drop the general mathematics, some of the elementary mathematics at third year, but they were doing it, okay? Even those who are doing English literature, and you see that's pure, languages.
Yeah.
They were doing some elementary mathematics, and that is why I want to tell City, I think there was a serious oversight of removing mathematics.
Actually, I'm actually introducing conspiracy theory into this discussion, because why was there this great need to suddenly change the system in the manner it was changed and the manner it was being implemented? Because the questions it has raised, on paper, as we say, it is a good system.
Yes, very good.
I was a classroom teacher when the 844 system came in. And I remember the old 844 before changes were made. It was actually a very interesting system indeed. The subjects introduced, the practicality of some of the subjects. But what many people forgot, that in a time, and you rightly mentioned when I was in secondary school, very many schools that had, national schools specifically, had the capacity for teaching all the subjects you speak of, sciences, but they also had technical subjects that you could study.
Yes.
There are people who studied
them.
Yes, you studied up to Form 2. If you had an interest, you would then study it further in Form 3 and Form 4.
Exactly.
Okay? And then we had technical secondary schools. Okay? Now these ones, you studied maths, a bit of social science, but a lot more of your time was spent in whatever technical area you're interested in. Okay? Somewhere along the line, I don't know what happened to these schools, we stopped mentioning them. So when we're talking about this new system, the thinking isn't actually new. Not in reality. We had systems that tended to cater for the interests that students may have beyond just the academic subjects.
Exactly.
Number one. Number two, when I look at the sports curriculum that schools, primary and secondary schools have, I look at the drama festival, the music festivals, all these things that we're putting into pathways have existed in schools. So when you determine that you're creating a pathway, now this is where perhaps the communication failed. What was now being done differently? Because at some point, you did study music and you had an option to study it further if music was offered in your school.
Exactly.
Everything that we're talking about was something that students were exposed to. Okay? So the system that we are speaking of, what is it about the formatting that now was going to bring about an advantage? Because if it does not bring an advantage, then we shouldn't have it. What is it that it's going to introduce that will bring about changes that will meet the demands that we as a country probably have moving into the future, that the systems that we've had could not meet?
844, so to speak, and you have just stated it very well. I was in a technical school, personally, Nyandarua High School. Nyandarua High School used to offer technical subjects like metalwork and woodwork, which I did metalwork.
You didn't have electrical... Because some schools had electrical.
Yeah, some had, like
some even had motor.
Technical,
Yes.
had electricals. You go to Mangu, had even aviation, and it's still there even, I think, today.
Yes, they
and
do.
even Nairobi School.
Yes.
And woodwork. In Nyandarua High School, we used to have woodwork, metalwork, and home science, which also still exists. And the laboratories were well. In fact, that was the first time for me as a Form 1 student in Nyandarua High School to see a raving machine that can do spot facing over metal. And I did it. And I was very happy and excited. And I wonder what kind of machines. The whole workshop was well equipped.
Yes.
I can attest to that.
And specialized teachers who specialize in training and teaching students in that
There
subject.
were 3 metalwork teachers
Yes.
in Nyandarua High School.
Yes.
So, and we were even fighting at what time should we go to the workshop. Because that is when I made my first key holder. My own.
Oh, you also made a key holder?
Yes, in that workshop.
You made what?
I made 2 things. I also made something like a key holder, but I also made a sugar bowl in my woodwork class.
I also made a candle holder.
See?
In that workshop. And it's still there to date at my house. a candle holder whereby you can put a candle
Okay.
in that metal workshop. So what I'm saying is this, CT, it is not that we are introducing something new. Actually, we are trying, when 844 came, we lost the entire concept of making sure that a student specializes in a certain area of which he'll excel in that area. We now moved from that to the scores, the 400, regardless of how you get it. Because you could, like take those schools that were offering metalwork, woodwork, aviation. It's more technical than even theoretical. Because 80% of your work is an assessment should be a technical thing.
It is a practical.
It's a practical thing. What you have already done, not exactly what you have learned. But the concept changed such that instead of me being given just a blank piece of metal and I'm told, now can you make a candle holder out of that? It doesn't matter. That one matters no more. And it is from what I'll score that should determine which grade will I get at the end of my concept, my course in KCSE. It changed to whereby I'll still get an A, but when you give me a raw metal rod and tell me to make a candle holder, I cannot make. So we have moved from practical to theoretical. And that is where now 844 diluted everything. We are now trying to get back CT to the same thing, to that, such that now it is not about how much I can memorize the ingredients or the process of making a candle holder. It's the process of whereby I can be given a piece of metal like this and told, make a key holder, make a candle holder, and that is what will determine how much or how would I score. That is why the CBE or the CBC has come back. And I love the concept that we had other schools like Meru Technical that was also doing the same. In fact, most of those schools were specializing in a certain discipline. We could know if you want to do aviation, it's Mangu, Nairobi School. If you want to do metalwork, Thika Technical, Nyandarua High School, Meru Technical. They were even clearly defined and well equipped for that.
Actually,
task.
literally every province had a technical school.
Yes.
Or a couple of technical schools. And even schools that were not necessarily technical schools had a technical department.
Exactly.
So this is the whole point. See, where my confusion arises is in the manner in which these changes were communicated.
Mm-hmm.
We had a similar problem with the 844 system. I was a classroom teacher then. And so the processes are things I underwent and I understood well over time. I have never seen as much confusion as I have seen now with this system. There has been a lot of confusion because one isn't certain. First of all, there was the debate, where do you nestle, junior? So, and I was thinking, hey, now, this one.
Kama tujajibu hiyo.
The answer to that question was a lot simpler than it was made to be, because what are you studying at this phase of your educational process? So whatever you're studying, which school sector is best able to meet these needs? And there are those who said, but what we call secondary schools were probably best placed because they already have some of these facilities.
Mm-hmm.
But other people thought differently. Now, then there was the issue of how do you onboard teachers in the new thinking? I'm using the word thinking as opposed to training, because training is supposed to actually change the way you think and the way you look at whatever it is that you are going to disseminate. Then there was the question of the actual training itself. Then there was the question of parents understanding it. Okay? Now, I'm loath to say that all this could have been done even before we thought of implementing it. My question has always been, why the rush? Something this important.
But CT, maybe let's say this, that in any transition, of course, there are hiccups.
These were not hiccups.
And maybe oversights.
Wakil, these are not hiccups.
No, okay. CT, I just want to make this clear. You see, CBE, when did the concept of CBE came into this country? Actually, it started with Dr. Fred Matiang'i. when he was a minister for...
It started in the Uhuru government.
Yeah, Uhuru government, when he was a minister for education. That was, I think, around 2015, around that time. That is when the concept was conceptualized. And now the execution and implementation started in earnest in together with Professor Magoha in 2017, immediately after the election of President Uhuru Kenyatta in his second term. And that is where even the budgeting and the pumping of money started. Because I was thinking that we needed to do a paradigm shift. Definitely, as you have said it, even the training had an issue. Because...
Everything about this system had an issue, literally.
Because even the teachers, as they were reporting to university, to train to be B.Ed Arts or B.Ed Science teacher, it was either you are going to secondary or primary, isn't it? But all of a sudden, there is an introduction of junior secondary school. Now, this teacher is trained to teach in secondary school, only 2 subjects. But now he has been placed in junior secondary, JS, which is supposed to offer almost 12 subjects, and he is supposed to teach even the subjects he did not train to teach in university. Are you communicating? Mm-hmm. Are you communicating?
Very much so.
So that is why I'm saying, in any transition, CT, and that is why I loved the Presidential Working Party on Education Reform that was read by Professor Munavu. Because when they move around, they were able to get the gist of the issue from the stakeholders themselves. You know, well, love it or hate it. Both Dr. Matiang'i and Professor Magoha were very competent people in terms of leadership in education docket. But they had only one small oversight.
Why do you say they were competent?
Because they were hands-on in their executions of their duties.
Being hands-on makes you competent.
Well, you see, you are able to iron out the patent issues that may be there.
There are those who would argue, and I'm one of them, that when you're hands-on, you're a busybody who does not know how to actually run your business.
They receive all manners of glory.
So you're busy entertaining the country with your drama of surprising people one morning, running around. A structure that is laid out and is clearly understood does not require that much movement, except from the people who are actually implementing it. There's a point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
Munavu and Co. did go around the country, and indeed, it is said they did get views from
the stakeholders and the public.
They did. But when you are changing an education system, you are changing the future of a country. You're not just teaching people. The details and the attention that is given to such a process is infinite, should be infinitely more. We have a navy. I'm giving an example. We have ships. Some are called frigates, some are called whatever they are called. As we think of buying these ships or having them made, we actually have people in the navy who go and train. Not just by being naval officers, but they even train with these ships. So by the time the ships are complete, they are the ones who actually bring the ships back into the country. I studied education, and an entire faculty was moved from the University of Nairobi and taken to Kenyatta. Entire faculty. In 1978, the Faculty of Education was taken to Kenyatta. It was Kenyatta University College.
College of University of Nairobi.
Yes, it was a constituent college of the University of Nairobi. The understanding was we needed more teachers. So the government took a deliberate step, placed teachers, and the numbers of people being trained as teachers was increased. And everybody who was there was studying a Bachelor of Education. There was no plain BA. Everyone who was in that campus was studying BEd, whether it was sciences, whatever it is you were studying. But it was a BEd in education to meet a need. Here, 2015, we have this project that we want. We're even budgeting for it. Everything that was said about the planning made sense until now. We go to the point where you're implementing and then start asking, but I thought they said they had done this. But I thought they had said they had done this. But I thought they said they had...
I like it, CT. Let me concur with you. I like it because... And that is that is the same point I was trying to drive at. That the mistake that the two ministers did at that time, or the CS did at that time, was that, and we raised a lot of issues, because I think even Sosion by then was not Secretary General.
Yeah.
Sosion raised a lot of issues. That why are you changing the curriculum without even training the teachers on what you are intending to do, and they are the implementers.
Yes.
And you see, no one could hear what Sosiono was saying at that time. We raised it. We raised concerns both in writing and in media press conferences and all that. But you see, as the two ministers would have it at their own time, Dr. Matiang'i and Professor Magoha, everything that was coming was, we are like beating drums to somebody who could not even listen and hear what we are saying. Because some of these issues, they did not start today. They started at conceptualization stage, at the initial stage. If we had got it right by then, those teething problems you're having today, because even today, remember, even the junior school is not fully settled. We are still having a debate. Is it? You keep on seeing them here demonstrating. We have more workload. This is not what we are trained for. We are supposed to be, you keep on seeing them in the streets demonstrating, those young men and women. It's still not yet settled. Number two, that is number one. Number two, right now, we are going to the issue of the admission and placement. You see, there is a lot of even confusion in the placement that has already been concluded. Not yet even concluded because those students are reporting on 12.
Yeah.
Those are some of you look at even the training of teachers, the retouring. And somebody asked me, and CT, because you are a teacher, can the retouring of 2 weeks completely change your thinking vis-a-vis the training you had in university for 4 years as a teacher, plus the experience you have been having maybe of about 7 years? That's almost 11 years, but you have only been retoured for 2 weeks. So what we are saying is this, CT, fine, all this now has happened. We cannot go back there. Now, what do we do? Now, and that is what I'm telling you.
Who says we can't go back?
It is rather expensive, CT, to go back. It's a rather, not logically possible to go back.
Wakili,
just listen, CT. Just listen, CT. Now we are here.
We are talking about the lives of citizens of this country who are at that nascent stage where they are developing, and that development and the importance and the value is exemplified by the budget we put across as a country for ensuring that this process we call education is well taken care of. I cannot think of anything more important. That's why I'm calling it the future of the country.
Yes.
Anything that has the weight of importance that education has cannot be treated the way this matter was treated. It cannot. Because if education is being treated that way, then you have to ask the question, so at the end of this process, what sort of people are we going to produce? Exactly. We already have people who burn schools, okay?
Yeah.
So this lot, what do you think they're going to do?
They're going to be worse.
How do you have a situation where you start a system and you have an entire term goes by and people haven't been taught in certain subjects?
It's true.
And then you were told that they were prepared. So this preparedness, what exactly did they mean that they were prepared?
And that is what I'm saying. Actually, we are saying the same thing, CT. That
Yes.
all this happened.
Yes.
All this happened. Which is more expensive? Okay. Which is lesser evil? Is it to go back to where we were? Because, we have been put here. This is evil, this is evil. Which is lesser evil? We have already wasted the good generation with 844. Do we go back there? Or we have now the CBE. Do we nurture it moving forward? Are we together? For the betterment as we move ahead and face the challenges. Because the mess was already done at the initial stages.
So if
I may ask you, CT, today, the massive investment that was done in secondary school, that is likely not even to be utilized. Okay? Because it was anticipated that it will have 6 classes. Now there are only 3. By the way, by the end of KCSE, that is in 2027, next year.
The last cohort.
The last cohort. We shall only have 3 classes in senior school. But the anticipation and investment that was done there was for 6 classes. What will happen to that investment? Okay? Do we demolish? And if we demolish, do we recover the loss? Are we together?
No.
Okay?
No. Education is a lot more fluid and flexible than that.
Yes.
You cannot lack what to do with space. I speak as an educator.
Yes.
when there was no more technical subject in a school I was a headmaster in, we used it as a store. So it.
But now this was not designed as a store. This was designed as a laboratory. But now, okay, the only thing I wanted to bring to concept is this, that which is lesser evil.
Yeah.
Because it has already happened. We cannot demolish. Now we look for an avenue, and he has said it. He
Yes.
has actually answered his own question. We actually look for an avenue. How do we utilize this facility? Now we are here.
Yes.
The two evils. The 844 did mess us because we were only celebrating grades, but we couldn't produce quality.
Okay.
Are we together? Now we are here with the CBE. It was wrongly started. It was wrongly conceptualized by those who started it. We are now trying to make it better. Do we go back to it for or we continue making this better and perfecting it for the betterment of our children?
How about we just have both options, both 844 and CBE?
But that is what we have currently. We already have Form 3s and Form 4s who are in 844.
No, but you said
now we are
the last cohort
transiting.
is next year.
Next year.
So after that one, no more 844.
No more 844.
What if we give parents the opportunity to choose for their children and also children to choose for themselves? Do you want to go through this pathway or do you want to take this pathway of 844? We cannot have the wasted number you're talking about, and we can just have it easy on some teachers. On some families and parents.
How do you want the government to fund you for what you want to make your choices? The government, we already have IGC. Do we call it IGC?
IGCSE.
IGCSE, International Curriculum. Can't you also sponsor yourself and do IGCSE? But if it is government being sponsored,
Yes.
the government has to produce a clear path. As CT is saying, the work of the government is to make sure that we have. I'm not speaking as a government because I'm not in government.
For sure you are,
but
yeah.
I've been in government. So I know the government is to produce a clear roadmap. This is where we want to go. This is where we put our resources. This is where we are investing. So if you have an alternative and you can afford the alternative, just like the health system, the government is producing these are our health facilities, these are our doctors. But if you feel the quality, the services and whatever we are producing is not good, there is an option which you can sponsor yourself. Right. So what I'm saying is this, CBE have initial and as we go back and say, it is just like the same way the initiators of CBE had also even excluded mathematics in senior school. That the CT has told us here, I have tried to justify and say it was an oversight and he has completely declined.
No. There are
But those are the shortfalls that we are trying now to mend.
There were people trying to justify why mathematics should be excluded. I was thinking, how on earth is this person thinking? How?
There's someone on X called Ndongo Wainaina. He has highlighted some key issues. Number one, he has said philosophy, psychology, and structure of Kenya's education system.
Yes.
He has also said greater flexibility in school choice for quality, equity, and coherence in school system. Yes. Then he has said fair quality and equity in the education system. And then last, disparities and regional balancing. Do you see those as some of the key issues that we are facing as far as this curriculum is concerned?
Regional balancing is also very key. I pick the last one. I have not comprehended everything.
Yeah, yes, disparities and regional balance.
Yes, disparities and regional balance. And regional balance has even come out clearly when we were doing even placement this year.
Yes.
And there are those proponents and who are saying, like my brother RG, who was saying that schools in Mulima should not, should not admit
people from outside. Right.
Which to me, I don't even think that should be a debate because. We need national cohesion and even that integration and regional balance. Like, take an example. And by the way, some of the things he even raising are issues that had been even addressed during even more years. CT, and you remember if you are a headmaster, if you are a teacher by then, there was something called quota system at that time, whereby a school, let's say, let's give an example. A school in Nyeri, Kagumo High School, is given at least a quarter of its vacancies to the locals, so that despite that it's a national school or a provincial school, at least a quarter goes to the district. By then there were districts.
I often wondered about that.
Yes.
You know actually why I wondered about it? Huh?
Yes.
When we were doing when we had Form 5 and 6, it mirrored what happened when you had gone for training after school, whether it was a degree or a diploma, and where you were deployed. People were rarely deployed in the areas they came from.
Exactly.
Rarely. It was a policy. You as someone who worked for the government, they encouraged you to know your country. So you are taken, the same applied to Form 5 and 6. You could be taken to a place you'd never even heard of. But the understanding was that Kenyans should experience other parts of the country. Now, if you look at the composition of the national schools that we had, it mirrored this very well. The provincial schools also mirrored this very well. So when someone comes in and says, now start with the district focus, okay? Then now others say we want a quota system. I'm beginning to think, why are you tinkering with something that already works and you're giving a new name to a system that already exists?
It existed.
Yes, but now you want to give it a name and then you want to put in percentages. You have to ask, why? What really is your motive? Why are you insisting on doing this way? Because what you're saying is already being done. It is already working. Why is it working? Because the system by which the government employed people meant people from all over the country were in all places other than where they came from. And if they had children, the representation, those children were not natives of that area, but they would end up in a school that is in the area where their parents worked. So some of the decisions that are made, in my opinion, especially when the motive is purely political, a very good thing like this system that we have, the CBC, it is actually a good system. If you read it,
it's a good system.
It is really
Very
a good system. It suddenly becomes chaotic because of the competing and conflicting interests that now find an arena within which they can clash.
There's a school that used to be called Garbatula.
Garbatula, in Sisiolo.
Yes. Watu wako
It's a national school.
Yeah, watu wako enda you should
Yes.
remember, I think hata isa imefungwa.
Yeah,
unless it was reopened.
Yeah, it was closed down.
It was closed down because I remember even when I was choosing schools, it was part of the offering.
Of the national school.
But unfortunately, I didn't choose it because also my brothers didn't choose it, and no one else I knew there's no one who I knew chose it, so I ended up not choosing it as well. And now Garbatula sijui kama ilifunguliwa tena after ilifunguliwa.
No, I think the school does not. And even it has, I think it was scaled down from a national school to a maybe local district. You know, I wonder, are we progressing as a country in terms of national integration, or we are moving backwards? Because by then, and rarely could a teacher be posted in his home district.
You are not posted in
rarely could a police officer be posted in his home district. By then they were districts. They're now called counties. They were districts.
Yes.
Yes.
Rarely could a doctor, because by then they were under the Ministry of Health.
You are not
could you be
posted
posted in
in
your...
no.
But today, it is more, you are being... It's like even recruitment has to start with our own before you go further. And then when Kioko maybe is a Kamba, comes to Murima, he feels like an outsider.
You know, Kioko has a name he uses in the studio. He uses movie. Yes.
There's something that came out yesterday as we were having a conversation with the parent I told you about, Dr. Maina. He said that there are even students who are being called to faraway places. So, for example, Mulolongo, mwanafunzi anaitwa Webuye, to a day school in Webuye. So how does this family relocate to Webuye for this child to go to this day school? Is it something that you've seen? Is it happening?
No, some are logical, because I had a parent from Marsabit.
Yes.
And actually that parent is a principal himself in Marsabit.
Yes.
And his own son was admitted to Kahawa Garrison Day Secondary School here in... It is in Kahawa, near Kahawa Barracks. Kahawa Barracks, yeah. Kahawa Garrison, it's inside the barracks,
yes.
So it was one, for him, he has never been to Nairobi. He has never been to Nairobi. Save for the
You're saying he's from Marsabit?
Marsabit.
Okay.
And he's a principal. Actually, he did his degree in education in Egerton, Joro. So he has never been to Nairobi throughout his life. His son has also never been to Nairobi. So the child has been admitted to Kahawa Garrison Day Secondary School to pursue STEM pathway, whatever.
Now, do they relocate to Nairobi?
Now, that is what he was wondering. And I think that is the issue we also... By the way, I was among the first people who raised those concerns. But the ministry, the ministry had also tried to undo this, because they were trying to take everything back to Jogoo House, which is not common. You see education, and I'll give an example of two schools, CT. Take a school like Kagumo High School that is domiciled in Nyeri County, and it's a national school. Take another school called Nyaribari High School. No, Nyaribari High School that is in Nyamira County. It's also a national school. If you admit a child in Nyamira to come to Kagumo High School, okay, and you admit another one in Kagumo High School to go in Nyaribari, in most cases, if these parents happens to know each other, they will swap prices. True or false? Because this is a national school, this is also a national school.
Yes.
But they're in the far end. Why are they, how are they swapped prices? So that this one in Nyeri will tell the one in Nyamira, allow mine to take your possession in Kagumo, and you take mine in Nyaribari. So that yours remain in Nyaribari, mine remain in Kagumo.
Yes.
Why are parents doing that? The parents most likely are going to do that because of two factors. One, this parent will say, well, for my child to travel all the way from Nyeri to Nyamira, that is a distance of almost 400 or 500 kilometers, he'll have to connect from Nyeri, Nakuru, Kisii, to, because Nyaribari is in Imanga sub-county, in Nyamira county. So those are about 3 vehicles. That child will incur transport cost of almost 2,000, almost 3,000 Kenya shillings.
Yes.
So to and fro, assuming because there is also midterm and overlaps in between, that child will have incurred transport cost for one term almost more than 10,000. So this parent will argue, instead of I incurring 10,000 on transport as my son to go to Kisii, why don't I go to school in Kagumo and pay this as a school fees? They had economic times. This parent will also argue, number 2, that in case my child is sent for school fees in between and I don't have enough money, and maybe I happen to be a local cereal, and I sell some cereal shop in nearby Chaka town in Nyeri. I'll just take a matatu. It's 20 shillings from Chaka or 50 shillings to Kagumo High School, and I'll go have a sitting or even walk or take a motorbike and have a chat with the principal. I tell him, instead of sending my child home,
Shika gunia.
Chukua gunia tatu ya gorogoro tano, gunia tano za maharagwe ama whatever, then substituted for the fees. Or maybe there is some manual work happening in the school. The school is constructing a gate or a fence or a certain building. I offer myself for manual labor. The one you'd have paid me, you deduct from. That is how that parent will argue. Now, it has cured in one way or the other. It has cured actually because it has helped the parent, okay? It has also helped the parent. The same case will happen to the one in Nyamira.
Okay.
Mutatis mutandis. The one in Nyamira will also argue that way because he is near the school and he'll be able to walk there. But it has cured that, which is good for a parent.
Yes.
But what about for the child?
Okay.
What about for the student? The issue the city now is bringing in of integration, so that this child can be able to see. Okay?
Other cultures.
I've traveled, I've been eating some mokimo, mudokoi, whatever, in my area. Now I'm in Nyamira, I have to eat bananas.
I think they eat the same thing.
No.
Whether you're in Kitui or Nyamira.
Now we more or less unify the things we eat.
He has also to see new environment. He has never traveled to Kisii in his lifetime, and maybe he'll never.
Yeah, I mean, I get, and what we are raising here is quite important, and so I don't know what is going to happen going forward because we have a minute before we end the show. So going forward, what is the solution? We continue in this confusion. Are we allowed to call it a confusion? Because we were having kids being called in far off places. Also, another complaint that we had is boys being called to girls' schools and vice versa. So there's all this confusion that parents are facing. Some of them don't even have the capacity to handle this stress.
No,
what happens?
Some of them have to be cured straight away. You cannot admit a student in a day school in far-flung areas. If it's school within Nairobi, let that student be admitted in a day school within Nairobi, actually a walking distance, so to speak, if possible. A walking distance. Not even to use a matatu, a walking distance. So that you also save the parents the hard economic times of incurring fare. Number 1. Number 2, you cannot again admit a girl child to a boys' school because practically it's also not possible. That is number 2. Number 3, let's also, as we also looking at the issue of national integration, let us not lose the focus of making sure that even as we look at the national integration, we don't also lose the whole concept and the whole picture of the quota system that was there. Let if that school is Kagumo High School or Nyaribari High School in Nyamira County, let it be given at least a quarter of the student from within Nyamira County. Then the rest, 75%, if it's a national school, it can admit from all over the country. Why are we doing that? We are doing that, Buvi, to make sure that, like today, if a fire breaks out in Kagumo House School near Nyeri, it's people of Nyeri nearby who will even rush to school to
save
the children, and even save even their lives, actually, so to speak. So there is that ownership, and education is social. It's not, it's not an economical factor. It's a social factor.
Right.
We need to integrate so that those people own up. That is cool. That they are not only seeing the buildings surrounding them, but they can own up. That is why even in football, the host country do not necessarily compete to qualify. Because how do you host a World Cup or AFCON in Kenya and you yourself, you are not participating in the same AFCON? I think that is a sense that should be there. That even as we bring national integration, let's also not lose the concept. Because even those parents, those of Nyeri, those of Nyamira, those of wherever, they are the ones who have even maybe, when Harambee is called, they are the one wanapelekaga chakula, nini, mahindi, maharagwe ya wageni, making tents and all that. Let them own up a portion of that. But that one does not mean that we kill the whole concept of national integration. Let them have their quota, and this one also be catered for, so that the school does not lose the concept of a national school. And that is why, by the way, and for record purpose, there is no longer the categorization of national school, provincial school, extra county. It's now C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, CT or C, yeah.
CT. Thank you so much, Ndungu Wangenye. We have had an awesome time as far as this conversation is concerned. But I have a feeling it will not be over soon. So we invite you again.
And maybe we can also say that, we are also heading to political season.
Right.
2027. It's good also.
Heading.
We are
already in it.
Yes. It's also good politicians as they are speaking some words, particularly maybe in media houses, like a radio like this one. Let's also be careful so that we do not disintegrate this country further. There is a word you can say here about that school in your county or your area, and it burns the whole country. True. And we are heading to a season whereby, Buvi, your child is admitted maybe to a school in Bungoma. You'll even fear taking a child there because of the sentiment that was made by politicians there.
Okay.
That you'll fear that going there, you are not even safe. Your child, if you are not safe, would you allow your child to travel to Bungoma to go and school
Definitely
there?
not.
Or to travel to Garissa, or to travel to Meru, or to travel to Mombasa?
Definitely not.
So let's also be very careful, because you are heading to a season whereby, if you are not careful, we shall disintegrate and dismantle the education system in Kenya because of careless talk, particularly from politicians.
Wakili, asante sana.
Asante sana.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The DCI has moved to court seeking orders to detain a murder suspect for 21 days to allow detectives to complete investigations. The application was filed at the Milimani Law Courts before Chief Magistrate Dolphina Lego in a miscellaneous criminal matter involving Eric Kamande Muthoni, also known as Eriko, is under investigation over the alleged murder of Dixon Gitonga Muriuki. According to the application, the suspect was initially arrested by members of public before being booked at Central Police Station. He was later handed over to DCI officers for further investigations.
The respondent here in Eric Kamande Muthoni was arrested yesterday by members of public.
Kwa hivyo wanasema kwamba iliweza kutiwa mbaroni jana na usaidizi wa umma.
And he was booked at Central Police Station by OB number 93, dated 5th January 2026. Your Honor, for the purpose of conclusion of our investigation, we are seeking for custodial orders to enable us conclude investigation so that the respondent can be detained at Central Police Station for a period of 21 days.
The government has reaffirmed its commitment to restoring lasting peace and eradicating alcohol and drug abuse in the North Rift region. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen also says security operations have successfully halted gun violence in the area since May last year, adding that the ongoing disarmament drive will be comprehensive and leave no village untouched.
nataka tutibu hii ugonjwa from the source, especially hii pombe yenye iko kwa sachets na hii spirits yenye imemaliza watoto wetu. Na ya kusema ukweli, watoto wengi wanakunywa hii kitu wakati wamepona, kumbe imezima waya, imepeleka mbegu, sasa inakuwa tu ni hewa. Kuna wale masugu, wale sugu kabisa, wale hatari ambaye ni suppliers, distributors and the big men.
The weatherman says a few areas may experience occasional rainfall this month, but much of the country is expected to remain hot and dry. According to the Meteorological Office, the January to March period will largely be characterized by dry conditions and high temperatures. The outlook comes as farmers nationwide evaluate the state of crops planted during the October-December season, with some still standing in the fields. The government will from this week roll out the second phase of business startup capital under the Nyota project, targeting close to 50,000 vulnerable youths across 27 counties. According to MSME's PS Susan Mangeni, the disbursement will run from January 8th to January 16th, 2026, and will be accompanied by mentorship forums to be presided over by President William Ruto in selected regional centers. The Nyota project aims to empower more than 100,000 vulnerable youth across all 1,450 wards nationwide, with a minimum of 70 beneficiaries per ward. At least 13 people have been killed, 8 of them children, after a drone strike on a house in the Sudanese city of El Obeid, says the Sudan Doctors Network. Most of the dead were part of the same family, the medical group added. Although no group has claimed responsibility, the medics said the paramilitary rapid support forces carried out the attack in an area controlled by the army and which it has been trying to penetrate for months. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
Sports on Radio Generation.
Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno. Amad Diallo delivered a standout performance as defending champions Ivory Coast eased past Burkina Faso to book a place in the quarterfinals of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The Manchester United winger opened the scoring in the 20th minute, weaving through defenders before delicately lifting the ball past goalkeeper Harvey Kofi from close range. Amad later turned provider, setting up Yan Diomande for Ivory Coast's second with a precise assist. Teenager Bazumana Toure sealed the victory late on with an impressive solo run from deep in his own half, finishing calmly to complete a convincing win for the Elephants. Manchester United have begun early talks with former players Darren Fletcher, Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over the role of caretaker manager until the end of the season. Discussions are still at a preliminary stage, but reports indicate that Michael Carrick is a serious contender to temporarily replace Ruben Amorim, who was sacked on Monday after 14 months in charge. Former midfielder Darren Fletcher has been appointed interim manager and will remain in the role until a caretaker manager is named in the summer. And that's your sports update on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno.
Sports on Radio Generation. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. This is Radio Generation. 9 minutes past 8 o'clock. 88.8 FM is where you'll catch us in Nairobi. 90.7. We are there in Mombasa. That's the FM frequency. And our newest baby, if I may call it that, is Garissa, 89.5. Nani ambaye ako huko bahali yake Garissa, atuambia anatubata katika frequency gani? What city? What do you think about my Garissa accent?
It's your Garissa accent. What am I supposed to think about? Why and what am I supposed to think about?
Umeuguzia microphone tena ile mahali. Yeah, no, ni kitu inakwanga hapa chini. Yeah, but anyway, let me ask. Nakusikia sasa, nakusikia. So you were saying what? What do you think about my Garissa accent?
I'm not going to prefer a thought to something that is yours.
You know, Garissa are my neighbors in Kitui.
You tell me what you think of your Garissa accent.
So whenever I meet them in, Kitui town, nawasalimianga, and then they have taught me a few of these particular words, and I'll be telling them to you later on. But let me introduce our guest, and probably they'll tell me whether my Garissa accent is doing well. We have Otieno Mokaya. He is an advocate and a youth leader, and also an aspirant. He'll be telling us about that. We also do have Peter Wanjiru, aka Kawanjiru, youth leader, Jubilee Party in Kiambu County. Gentlemen, welcome to Radio Generation. Happy New Year, my brother.
Happy New Year.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
Yes. Always a pleasure.
Kabisa.
Yes, Kawanjiru. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very fine.
What do you think about my Garissa accent?
I think
amekwamia hiyo kitu.
Lazima niulize. What do you think about my bahari yake accent?
It's like you are forcing the tongue.
Come on. So you want to tell me that if I go to the middle of Garissa market and I just do the kanzu and nianze kuambia tu bahari yake, they will just know this is an imposter.
The hair will sell you.
The hair will. Gentlemen, welcome to Radio Generation. It's a new year, but we are inching closer and closer to elections, which are supposed to take place next year. Can't believe I'm saying this, next year. Very soon we shall be saying the elections will be taking place this year. But yes, they are taking place next year. And from where I sit, I have been watching our politics, and all I can say is that it's like there is no headway. We are seeing the leaders, yes. We know the political leaders in terms of the principles, the folks who might end up being at the ballot. We know the president will definitely be on the ballot. But for the other folks, the united opposition, I'm really not getting a clear signal as to, where we're heading. And let me start with you, Mokaya. What do you think is the direction specifically for the united opposition?
I think I'll start with how cyclic our elections are being and the psyche of the country around elections. We have fashioned our economy, our lives around elections. It's that everybody is in campaign mood 2 years before elections is something that we should be worried about.
Yeah.
Then it means, at what time do we sit and even work? At what time do we sit and even think about policy, including our tax policies? If in 2022 we are from elections, the first year we go around bragging about how we won the elections.
Yes.
The second year we sit around and try to settle in. The third year we are in campaign mode. The fourth year we are even in campaign mode further. And then the fifth year we are actually now in the election year. And the cycle continues. Then you wonder why we are at the same place, tackling the same problems 60 years past independence.
But I actually feel like since the last election, we have been in campaign mode ever since.
Actually, I don't know. You'll help me with the finesse of experience.
All right.
In my adult life, there is no place that I've not seen this country in election mode. Even our tax policies, our development structures, even where the economy is geared towards, it's always about an election. There's nothing about posterity. There's nothing about continuance. Nobody's talking about I'm picking up from where my brother left. Everybody comes, leaves unfinished projects, and then charts their own path.
Right.
We have a Vision 2030 before we even understand what it is. We are into 4-point agenda before we even understand the second agenda. We are bottom up before we even understand what bottom up is. Now we are going to Singapore. Where are these things that we are living on the way with money spent? A typical example, we have very good roofs along Thika Road.
Yes.
Which money was spent and we don't know where that BRT is coming from.
All right.
We are having a railway that is ending in Naivasha. We don't know how it ended there.
Okay.
We are thinking about taking it to Kisumu, which I believe could have been the initial master plan. Whether we got what we paid for is another story.
It was the initial master.
Yes, but now it's stuck at Naivasha. We had the first dual carriage road. The superhighway was on top of the first dual carriage road, and now we are thinking about an expressway on the same expressway, on the same superhighway. We are having problems with an expressway to a place that has never seen a dual carriage road. So really, there is an skewed angle to which we think about our country, our people, even our elections, that is always about an election. Everything is always about an election. Every policy, it's either about personal gain, corruption, or even election.
Okay.
Whether there are people who are poised for that to take over power, somebody must be poised to take over power. Can we for once think about where our country is going, even as we transit to another election? What policies are we standing on? What do we expect our country to be after 2027? It's not about people. These are people looking for jobs. We have more than 10 million youths who are looking for jobs. Why isn't that a problem to us, that we are so fixated on 2 or 3 people doing the same thing, looking for a job?
Yeah. Petero, naja kwako sasa. Same question I asked him in terms of the way the direction the country is taking, specifically coming from our politicians. It's like we are getting closer to the election and only one person is sort of sure what exactly it is that they want. The others, they're not telling us anything actually. They're saying so much but nothing in between. Yeah.
So thank you. First of all, I would like to tell you, to answer this question with a question.
Okay.
Like, why are we here? Why is Kenya that right now we are facing high political, maybe the temperatures are very high in the political arena. I think we as Kenyans, we did a very big mistake in the last general election. We elected a leader who promised us to take us to heaven while we are living in hell.
But we didn't elect one leader. Several leaders.
Yes.
Okay.
But as a president, we did a mistake.
All right.
And that's where the mistake is coming from. You know, you can't tell me that you are a driver. You are promising, you are coming from Gong Road, heading to Nairobi. But ukifika pale Junction Mall, you turn your vehicle heading to Gong Road, maybe to Gong Town.
Yes.
So the president himself is the first person who is leading this country into where we are. We have the problems. The problems that we were facing in 2022 are still there, and we are still heading into deeper problems right now. You know, the Singapore scenario, we are living in hell.
Yeah.
He's promising us heaven.
Yes.
You know, everyone here wants to be in heaven. But why?
There's something I was actually, and I said, I think it was on Monday, I think. Yes, Monday. I said that I think the president, that is Dr. William Ruto, gave us an amazing manifesto. You know, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. For me, it really sounds good on paper. But I told CT and the guests that we had here, I feel like he's trying to do so much within a short period. And if I were him, I'd probably choose 3 or 4 projects and just make sure I perfect them. I don't know if you, number one, Wanjiru, you agree with me before I move on over to Mokaya for the same question. Do you feel like the problem was he had a good idea? Because that is why people elected him. They wouldn't have elected him if he hadn't given them a good idea. Wakenya si wajinga. So is it that he overpromised and underdelivered, or he just promised and has delivered nothing whatsoever?
I think what lacked he promised, yes, he had a good, very manifesto, but at the end, when he gained the power, the promise, I think the book that he wrote, the promises he gave us to us, alifunga. Maybe akaiweka, maybe in a drawer na akaifunga.
Na akapoteza funguo.
Exactly. So
you know, the opinion that when politicians make promises, they are anticipating and they are hoping that it can get done. Primarily because they think that when they get to that position, what they're hoping to do can be done. Then they get there and they find it is not quite what they thought. What do you think of that particular perspective?
But he was a DP before he won the election to be the president. So I think the manifesto was very clear that when he gets to that power of the president, he will deliver. You know, he was observing his former...
Can I ask you a question? You were in this system where you went to Form 1. Is that not correct?
Correct.
You knew there were people in Form 2. And you could discuss issues in Form 2. But when you got to Form 2, is it what you imagined it would be, or was it different? Or let's start with primary school. When you were sitting for an exam hoping to go to secondary school, you had an image of what image, because you were not in secondary school. When you get to secondary school, did the secondary school turn out to be exactly what you thought, or did you find out that there were things that you had never had foreseen before you actually got to secondary school?
The conversation here is very different.
Oh no, it is not.
Just listen here. The president, like, let's assume the same case, the same example you have used. Let's use a school. The president, at that time, he was a deputy principal. So, you know, everyone has his or her own ambitions. So he was actually having his desires to be the principal. You know, he was observing, maybe saying, oh, when I get to that position of the principal, I'll do some few changes. He understood the system, how it was working, where the president was wrong, and he gave his manifesto. So I think what he is lacking is what he was hoping. So he was hoping that he will change the system.
Do you know how easy
but
it
the
is
system is changing
do you
itself.
know how easy it is to criticize something that is being done by somebody else? And do you know how easy it is to see things which are not being done? And yet, if you are given the same task, you may find it is not quite what you thought it was. But these are thoughts that people have had regarding the same thing. But please go on. So this is a president who promised, and clearly he didn't quite fulfill whatever he had said he was going to do.
Actually, I think in his own mind, he was not to come and deliver his promises. You know,
why do you say that?
The mistake he did was appointing politicians to be ministers. You know, like CS for ICT is a politician. You ask him a mouse, anakwambia panya, like how? You know.
Okay, goja kidogo. I don't. You guys, you can't be doing this to the former
Honorable
governor of
Kabogo knows
actually we come from the same area.
Kabogo knows what a mouse is. Hata hiyo panya unasema anajua bwana.
Hajui bwana.
Actually, he's right.
Yeah.
The Swahili name, proper name for a computer mouse is kipanya. So
yes.
It's the same joke that we had for a very senior officer who was trying to say 1 billion passengers.
Yes.
And people say a motorbike carried 1 billion passengers.
1 billion
But the
passengers,
ignorance
yes.
was on our side because we didn't understand that 1 billion passengers is anyone who rides anything that looks
actually,
like a horse.
A lot of people
all of us
found
went
out
to school that
yes.
day.
Yes.
So there is we can interpret what we want from what somebody says. But the good thing about speech or hearing is that the person saying is only in control of what they say. What we hear is really it's dependent on many things, including our perception of what the person saying it. If let's say in family gatherings, the final word always comes from the person who will pay, including funerals. So whatever you say, however wise you'll be looked at with the imagination that can you finance your ideas. We have it's the good thing about wisdom is that we can get it from anywhere. And I like to tap into the wisdom of my ancestors. My ancestors said, and I'll request that I say it the same way they said it.
Okay.
Moisi atoi taiso kano nyuome.
Right.
What that means is that don't kill your father, son. Tomorrow you'll marry. The wisdom behind that is you'll always think people ahead of you are suboptimal. You'll always think they are careless, even foolish. But when you get there, you realize they might have even been more capacities than you had or even thought. It's easy to criticize because what that requires is not you doing anything. It's just watching and finding mistakes in what these people are doing.
Okay.
But when you get there, you realize that maybe you are too ambitious. Maybe you even were wrong about your sense of self-importance. Or even maybe you were so selfish about how many A's you gave yourself. The first example you'll think is, let's go to the family or even the dating market. How many boyfriends actually realize what the poems they were writing to their girlfriends before they became their girlfriends? How many husbands are true to the promises they gave their wives before they became their wives? The same thing. There are things you say, flowery things you say to get to where you are going. But then when you get to consummate the position that you have gained out of what you said, then you realize there are very few things that you can actually realize with the circumstances and the resources you have in that position.
Are you alleging that perhaps the president made promises knowing that he will deliver, but when he got the position, he realized that, hey, by the way, he's easy?
Every romantic is very serious and very intentional about all the promises they give their suitors. But when they marry, it's not that they hate their partners. There are priorities that come. There are realities that happen. You'll want to buy your wife a beautiful dress, but will you buy it in place of school fees? You want to eat meat today, but will you buy it in place of the condition that your parent is ailing through because you want your partner to feel good?
Okay.
Will you skip medicine because you want to buy cake for your birthday? There are things we do, there are things we mean even to do.
Yeah.
But again, they are realities. Why are we questioning things? I think there is a new cool, there is a new fashion, there is a new marketing structure of personalities and even institutions, including political parties, that must be fueled by the amount of insults, the amount of opposition, the amount of bad things we say about people in power. But I want us to use Kibaki's monies that are invested in our education properly. That the reason why we go to school is not that we should have uniform ideas. The reason we go to dance school is not that we have to dance the same way. The reason we go to music school is not that we produce the same sounding, the same rhythm in music. We should be tolerant enough to even try to think on behalf of the opposite conversation. We should, the Tanzanian says, kuwa mpinzani sio kupinga kila kitu. We should clap for good things. We should criticize bad things in equal measure and with the same energies. The Rironi Summit road is being built. Clap for that. The coast has issues. Question that. The road towards tendering has issues. Question that. But you don't kill a child because you have an issue with the mother.
I've seen Peter here laughing at that point of Mau Summit. Your thoughts, please.
Yes, actually, I'm laughing because I think this brother lives in, maybe he lives in Earth, where I live in Pluto. But here, he lives in Pluto. I live in this Earth. Specifically to be in place, I live in Kenya. So he's talking about the Mau Summit is being built. I would like to tell you, frankly, the truth is here. President went there, launched the road, ikapigwa ile inaitangwa mranda kidogo for people to see that he is building the road. But since that day, I can assure you, since that day, no work has been going on. So let me tell my brother here, like, tusidanganyane, we are living in Kenya. But I think, unajua yeye maybe he is living out of Kenya in his mind. But in the real reality, we are living in Kenya. And we must talk the truth here. Okay. You know, huwezi niambia, like, I take you to, you are a radio presenter.
Yes, I am.
I take you to the hospital. I tell you, like, today you are going to carry a surgery to a patient. Will you be able?
Hata sijui mali scalpel inashikwa.
So that's the problem where it's coming. So let's have people with their profession doing what they are supposed to do.
I want to take you back to the point you said that the president appointed politicians in the places of cabinet secretaries.
Exactly.
But this is not the first time ministers have been politicians. It started all the way since independence, where sitting MPs actually, you'd have to be an MP first for you to be considered for the position of minister. So it's not the first time we've had actually, I think right now we have less politicians as cabinet secretaries. So for me, the question is about do you have the merits of being in that particular position? Is that what you're questioning?
Actually, the mistake here is not about maybe him appointing the politician.
Yes.
The mistake is he appointed some people who are not working. Actually, if you look in the ministries, every person, every day, everywhere, they are on their mics. So huyo mtu atafanya kazi lini? So the mistake is he appointed noisemakers, not workers.
Now, there's a debate. Let me call it debate. We had here in the studio also. CT was part of that conversation where we were asking, in a ministry, who has got the real power? Who actually ensures when we say that road we were talking about, the Rironi Mau Summit road, when we say this road is supposed to be constructed, of course, there's a ministry that is in charge of that particular implementation. Is the minister really in charge of that work ongoing, or is there someone beneath him in terms of rank in the ministry who actually holds the true power that will ensure things work within that particular ministry?
I think I will first say the president himself. If you look in most of the ministries, most of the PSs are from his own tribe. So,
have you done the maths?
Yeah, I have done it.
Tell us the maths.
If you look most of the ministries at the PSs, I can assure you, most of them.
No. Tell us the maths. How many ministries do we have?
We have allowed.
No, there are a specific number.
There are 22. Yes.
Yes. And how many PSs? Because some ministries have more than one department, and so if they have more than one department, then you will find they have more than one PS.
So I think to your question, maybe there is someone who is beneath it. You know, the president himself should have the clearance of the ministry, the CS himself or herself, telling him that we have the finances to build the Mau Summit Road or maybe the other road, but not the president himself saying that we will build, but we don't have the finances.
The reason I brought that issue of the ministries and who's supposed to implement what, who has the power to do what, politically or otherwise, is because there is also this issue of the president being the principal, the CEO of the country, can have a very good idea, and I'm not CTT president by the way, I'm just asking because I need us to be very logical and rational in the conversation. Is it possible, and I'm asking you now, is it possible that even within his own ranks, from the CSS to the PSs, he might have good ideas, but the people that he has hired to implement are the ones failing him, and by extension we see his government as a failure?
Then how would you have good ideas and then you appoint people who can't carry the mandate through? So how are the good ideas manifested?
I'm very systematic in the question, so I've asked you that one. Is it possible that, first of all, he has good ideas, but the folks that he has hired to ensure that that dream is implemented are failing?
Who
that
hired
particular- him? I've said he hired people who are failing him. Yes. Is it possible that that is a scenario?
I think that's the scenario. But in my own view, maybe he did not want to perform.
Okay. So from the initial stage, he decided, I will choose Mbuvi because I know Mbuvi is incompetent. So even if I give him this particular position, he will not perform. Therefore, even if I look bad, that is the initial plan. That is what you're saying.
You know, the president, let's turn our conversation into education sector.
Okay.
If you look at the JSS teachers are still pending for the approval. And he said himself that they will wait. They will wait until 2027. But in the previous years, he said himself he will approve the JSS, who are the interns. Okay. So I think the president is towards spokesman. Like anasema that he is preaching the wine
and
drinking water.
Drinking maybe the black inaitagwa black keg. So so I think we must be very realistic on what is happening to
Mokaya,
this nation.
I'd like your input in this.
So there are lies that have been said so repeatedly until they have a semblance of truth.
Okay, such as
that the government is one-sided. Actually, the complaint should come from different quarters. I'll not be exact in those numbers, but I'll say 7 of the 22 or 21 ministers come from the same region, which is not the president's region. That is the first inequality we should be talking about. But we don't say that because it's not cool to say it. The problem with our politics is that we pick narratives and we run with them without facts. My brother here said that most PSs come from the president's tribe.
Okay.
That's not factual, but it's called politically
correct.
Sweet. No, it is politically acceptable.
Yes, it's political. It's the narrative that we want to further. Whether it's true or not, it's not necessarily our business.
Yeah.
Truth is not an issue in our politics. We want to further narratives. And we want to further these narratives because that is what will get some people in positions that they admire. And the people who are being used to further these narratives are specifically young people, and for good reason, because they don't have the benefit of history. They don't understand where we are coming from. And these are people who never lived some critical turning points of this country, especially some turning points that were close to tipping points. And that's why people are using my generation to further those narratives. Allow me to say this. Somebody said in a funeral that there are MPs who are having difficulties in finding roads to tarmac. Yeah? I didn't see that clip, I didn't hear it, but it didn't sit well with me, because our members of parliament are being heckled out of rallies or even funerals because people cannot take tea to the factories. The problem with my summit is not whether the road is being built or not.
Yes.
It's that the idea itself is stimulating. Why? Because it speaks to many things. That's not just a road. For the first time, taxes collected from this country and people from the west side of the rift is actually facing them. That we are celebrating 2 ministries. It's not, understand us. It's not because they'll help, these ministries are even, they'll be translated into anything that will benefit Mwananchi. It's because for the first time, we are consuming something that is not bullets, that is not tear gas. I said here, and I said it in passing, that the first dual carriage was replaced by a superhighway that was extended to another dual carriage. There is trade in that infrastructure. When people are saying that we don't eat roads, some people can't eat because there are no roads.
So in essence, we can eat roads.
We can really eat roads, because mboga from Nyacheki market gets to Nairobi in 4 hours before it's stale. Fish from Lake Victoria will be in Nairobi in the state that it was extracted. It speaks to safety that we have lost enough people from the west of Rift Valley because of head-on collisions. What that road makes is that your mistakes and your drunk driving ends with you. You don't carry 60 other people in a bus with that. What that means is that for the first time, we'll not spend 24 hours trying to go see our mothers. That we don't have to prepare to go home for a funeral in Friday, on Wednesday. That is what that road means. And such are every other infrastructure that people from other quarter laugh at, that we celebrate. And there is the anatomy of the stories we receive. It's because people who have been in former governments don't see these projects as development projects. They see them as avenues to eat. Human beings are wired to be traumatized or even to be afraid of their vices. That's why thieves double lock their doors, witches walk around with charms, and philandering partners are always trailing their spouses. Because you can't stand what you do. People complaining about these development projects, they're not complaining about development projects. They are jealous of the perceived corruption in these projects. That they ate from SGR, they think somebody's eating from Mau Summit, and it's unacceptable. That they ate from the expressway, they have problems in Talanta Stadium because they believe somebody's making billions out of it. And we must understand where our opposition is coming from. I have my problems with many things. But for once, I can't join the bandwagon that is laughing at everything, even at good things. I can't be in the bandwagon that is clapping for divisive tribal narratives that are at the verge of banning this country. I can't be hero worshipping people who realized that something is wrong, immediately they stopped eating. One thing is true. Somebody lost a job, and that person is willing to ban this country until he gets that job. But as a young person, I want this country to be there for me and for my children and for everything I'm doing today, tomorrow. I can't stand here And for the sake of politics, for the sake of political ends, support narratives I don't know, I don't believe in. I can't be here saying that a road cannot be built to my place, a stadium cannot be built for my brothers to play football, developments cannot be done just because a politician said so.
Okay.
The problem is not the project. The problem is not the developments. The problem is not even the Singaporean dream. It's a good thing said by the wrong person.
Okay. Peter, you want to respond to that first?
Actually, I just respond with one thing. You know, let's be realistic. You know, maybe here I'm the husband. The husband is the president. But the beautiful lady here is the mwananchi. You know, I cannot go there, promise the lady, I will marry her and impregnate her. Then nijipate sina ile nguvu ya kiume. So the lady will be frustrated.
For sure.
So I think the president should, in his own ways, impregnate us, we as the mwananchi. Then mwananchi akiona mimba atashindwa, kuliendaje. So let him not say like make it publicly or maybe to entice people that I will be like anaenda na launch barabara, but in the real sense he's not ready to build it.
So unasema ana shoot blanks basically.
Yeah, I think what he should do, do development in silent. Then the mwananchi will start saying, oh, the president is really working.
Let me ask you something. For example, you come from Kiambu County.
Exactly.
Yes? You're a resident there as well.
Yeah.
Now, when we look at some of the projects that your county has benefited from the current leadership, can you point out maybe one or two?
I think I don't.
Because
I don't see
there's
any.
a statement he said, and I've also heard it, their MPs, and apparently those MPs come from Central Mountain Region, that they are literally, they don't have development projects to do because apparently they've most probably all of them been done. So I want to find out from you.
That's not true.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking him. Could you point out something in this particular Kenya Kwanza government that has been done within your county, if at all there's any?
By the maybe by the president himself or by
no, Kenya Kwanza government, like this current regime.
I think first of all I would like to say maybe in my county the county government there is really working.
All right.
But let's not hype that the county government is working, so the Kenya Kwanza government is working.
So the county government is working.
Yes, it's working.
What are some of the projects the county government has done in your
county?
I
think our governor has built more ECDs in that it has never been seen.
Yes.
He is building like ECDs daily. Although we have challenges, maybe with roads, water, but he is really trying.
All right.
So I think the county government at the MPs should maybe try to not just wait for the president. Let them try to bring down development in their own means. Like if you look in Kiharo, developments are ongoing. Like people are asking themselves,
Kiharo is in Murang'a, right?
Yes. Like unajiuliza, like does Kiharo get more money than my constituency? So I think we must get it clearly. Like why is Kiharo developing? Her other parts are not developing.
Do you know your MP?
Yes.
Who's your sitting MP?
My MP is wa Mushomba. Gadhani wa Mushomba.
Mushomba.
Yes.
How is she performing?
Let me say she's doing nothing.
Okay.
But like if you look in my constituency,
when you say nothing, what do you mean?
She's actually doing nothing.
No.
You know,
when you say nothing, I need to understand. How many times has she been elected?
It's her first time to be the MP of Githegori.
Before that, she was
the woman rep.
Okay. So in these 2 times that she has represented politically that particular region, she has done nothing. Meaning there's absolutely nothing you can look at and say, this is something she initiated, this is the development project that she stood for. There's absolutely nothing.
Like when she was the woman rep for Kiambu, she really tried to bring the GAF initiative to the county, to our mamas. she did it right when she was there.
Hapo alifanya kazi mzuri.
Hapo alifanya kazi.
Okay.
But in the MP seat,
NGCDF hajatumia venye.
Like
Kiharu ametumia, venye
exactly.
Nyoro ametumia.
But she's trying. I cannot say that she's not performing, but she's really trying. You know, Wamushomba is a like a flying chicken that wants to ile ya kutaga mayai. So hana ile msimamo, like you know, leo anasema hivi, the other day hivi. So I think she's more into national politics rather than being the constituency level.
So the reason I asked you about your county and then I also went into your MP, it is because, and then of course we were looking at the Kenya Kwanza government. I wanted to understand who has failed you more. Would you say that your local leader, who's your MP, perhaps even look at your MCA, who would you say that has failed you more than the other? Would you blame the government? Would you blame the president more than you would blame your MP, for example?
I think here we should not always be blaming the president, but in the real sense, we must, you know, the current maybe MP and MCAs, they are telling us that the president is trying to release the money.
Okay.
So if she or he is not performing, he or she is blaming the government that hajapatio hiyo pesa.
Okay.
I saw the other day Muranga Governor Kangata saying that the SHA itself is having more balances, more they have not released the actual money for the SHA. So I think in the real sense, for the county government to work, the national government must release money to the county governments in time.
Okay.
So that we can feel the lead development. So I think the money in quotes that is not being released to the counties is the one that the president is just reiterating here, giving what to, like going to a church and asema nimetoa 20 million. I think
empowerment programs.
Exactly. Hizo are the soprano guy.
You never cease to amaze me with every sentence. Now, Mokaya, getting back to you, there's something that has come out of our conversation with Peter here, and I just wanted to understand when it comes to the youth, like you were mentioning earlier on. Where do you think we have been failed more? Is it number one by our local elected leaders or the larger national government? Because there's something that always comes out in our conversations, and it is about OSG empowerment. We talk about employment, and we talk about opportunities not being available for the youth. In your opinion, who do you think has failed the young people most?
That is a very broad question, but I like that you've broken it down to make it easy for me to know where to angle my answer. We have 6 levels of representation. And the Constitution, in the drafters or the spirit of the Constitution, never envisioned that there will be an opposition. The Constitution only envisioned one government with the minority and majority. So this opposition story is out of what we are used to. That we know there is a...
You're saying that's our creation?
Our creation. The Constitution we voted in for did not say there is opposition. It's you are either in the minority or majority. So the government, we have 2 levels of government that work independently, but they must work together. Together in this way. There are functions that are county functions, there are functions that are national government functions, but they are interdependent. That there is no county government without national government, just like the national government cannot function without the county government. It's a sweet balance. And this was informed again historically. That the Majimboism that Jaramogi Odinga visualized in 1964-5, City will correct me, is what we realized. That despite what opinion you have of the man on top, you are able to realize development. Despite whether you are in line, in sync, or even in the same rhythm with the national government, with proper decisions at the grassroots level, you are able to realize the products of your taxes.
The people who actually propagated Majimboism were Daniel Arap Moi and Ronald Ngala. It was said Jaramogi Odinga had a socialistic leaning in the way he felt the government should function and how it is that the citizenry should benefit from their government. But he himself was a businessman, so he had a leaning towards capitalism, yes. But when you look at our sessional paper number 10 and the creation of what we call African socialism and the thinking behind it, then you understand that perhaps it is that thinking that later led to the variance that he and Jomo Kenyatta had. Because Jomo Kenyatta was a die-in-the-wool capitalist. And that seemed to run contrary to what Jaramogi stated that he stood for. But it is Ronald Ngala and Daniel Arap Moi who are the shining lights of Majimboism.
Yes, but we have a lot of bad things to say about Jaramogi, about Moi, that we can't even credit him for things like that. So we can't fully complain, or we can't fully paint some people black so that we seem white without looking at who really is in charge of our development. If the government, the national government is bad, then that should be falsified by your county government working. Because also even roads, there are national government roads and there are county roads. Some sectors are governed, are actually should be implemented or even developed by your county government. How wrong are we that we voted the wrong president, voted the wrong governor, voted the wrong MP, voted the wrong MCA? Then why are we really complaining? Because we deserve the leaders we get. What that is not done with national government, some of it should be done by the county government, and they get a share of resources by law. There is the division, the separation of powers in our government structure.
Yes.
Even in the naming of our positions, president comes from preside. Presiding is not the doing. Presiding is vision bearing and ensuring that everything is aligned with your vision.
It's also oversighting.
Oversighting, yes. Then we have cabinet secretaries. There were ministers then, but the nomenclature lied. It created bosses. Now we got cabinet secretaries. Cabinet secretaries is a doing job. It's a job that ensures that whatever is being presided actually goes into policy. The EIA holder in every ministry is not the minister, is the permanent secretary.
Principal
secretary. This is the person who signs off projects, who signs off policy, who gets policy into tasks. For this to be realized, then we'll need City to handle this, Mbuvi to handle this, Mokaya to handle this, Kawanjiru to handle this, and this mix gives us what we want. I think the big failing in the current government, which is what we are not saying, is that maybe the person speaking is not the person who should. There's an office of the government spokesperson. And that office, if there is a star government spokesperson, it should be Mutua, Alfred.
Okay.
He did that job so well. Then now the political appointments that my brother is complaining about is what is getting us here. That the president complains that he knows more about ministries than people running them should indicate that somebody is not saying what should be said so eloquently, that we don't have what in corporate governance is called plausible deniability, that the head of an institution should not speak as much as he does, because then he can't correct his own narrative. The reason why the government spokesperson should speak what he should is so that in case they make mistakes, that's where now the president comes to correct that what they said is not what I had envisioned. Truth is, and this is true, we couldn't reply to Kibaki because he said nothing. We could reply to Uhuru because he said something. We have everything to say against Ruto because he says everything. And by the time you open your mouth to say something, somebody thinks they can speak better. But Look at it empirically with what you can prove and what you can substantiate. No president has done more in his first term than the current president. Whether he has done it right, that's now where the debate is. All presidents realized what they have as flagships in the second term. Whether they did it correctly is now another debate. I have issues with the empowerment program because now there is a lot of legal questions to ask about where the money comes from, what it does, and what it's aimed at. I have issues with some policies because I believe there are things governments should not do. The first thing, the law does not tell government, the government should not get into things that the private sector should do. Government should create an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. But at least there is something being done. I'm driving towards affordable housing. If you look from a policy or even a governance proper standpoint, really the government should not touch that. But then you realize our real estate market is skewed. There's a lot of fraudulent pricing in houses. So if the government, by selling a house at 3 million, they'll get the Chinese to sell it at 6 million, then there is a balancing effect that our real estate market is balancing itself out. Actually, because of this.
The problem isn't even our real estate market, if you think about it, because any business entity is an inanimate object. It is the ethos that we have embraced as Kenyans, and which manifests in what you are saying. It's the ethos that we have embraced that manifests itself with our members of parliament, and shamefully the things that they were elected to do and which they do not do, and the things which they do that nobody elected them to do. So we then develop this culture where the lenses through which we look at life is absolutely and almost irrevocably negative.
Yes.
And we instead of even looking at the situation and saying, yes, this is bad and this is bad, and balancing it, we very rarely balance our political discussions, especially when we're offering our views. And yet, for those of you who are young, it's a culture you must develop. You can't carry on and have the attitude that my generation had. Because us, we think in terms of our tribes, and we've infected you. So do you.
So I think let me land. So the houses government is building are not properly the function of government, but they are curing a disease that we are suffering from. It can't be that a 2-bedroom house in Kilimani, Kileleshwa, or everywhere where the middle class wants to settle is going at 15 million when that house is being sold by government at 3 million. What that means is that the market will actually properly, the real estate should speak to rental, that buying and renting should somehow even out. That you can't get your money in less than 10 years in an apartment you bought speaks to something that the real estate, there is a lot of margins to be made there that make our housing skewed. And that is what that cures. How it cures it might not be the taste we want, but something is being done about it. He spoke about SHA, and I like that he spoke truth about SHA. SHA could not, there are aspects of SHA that is not working, and that is the service provider aspect of it. That compensations to hospitals are not arriving in time.
Yeah, but there's an explanation to that.
Yes, there is an explanation to that, and hospitals are suffering that, and which goes into some other adjustment, that there is something that was happening with NHIF that was tried with SHA, and it failed, because then you can't have 200 C-sections in a 1-bed clinic in Garissa. If that is not working, then let it not work, because if corruption is not working, please let it fail. But on the patient side, I don't know whether my experience is different, but I'm a firstborn. I took my younger sister to hospital. SHA paid for something, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that I don't have to pay for that, because SHA worked, and it didn't work like my insurance. It worked like a social insurance. You register today, it pays tomorrow. So, but is that a story we want to tell? No, because it doesn't meet our political end. This government is bad and it must be bad. That is the story we want to tell. Whether they start preaching the gospel, actually the gospel will be bad because Pastor Ruto is preaching it, not
Actually,
because the gospel
it isn't
is
even the government that is bad. From where I sit, it's Ruto who is bad.
It's Ruto who's bad.
And since he's the president,
he
everything
must be
he
bad.
presides over
Must be
has
bad.
no alternative but to be bad.
So this day, the fish is not rotting from the head. We must make sure the head rots so that we say the fish is rotten. Our hate for Ruto is so bad and so entrenched that we are inheriting this enemy from Gachagua and co. So badly that is infecting even the angels we call children.
I want us to come back and talk about Gachagua and co, like you've said, and several other individuals as well. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. We're getting into the news with Winnie Maganga.
Generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Communities in Baringo County have continued to step forward, handing over illegal firearms and ammunition in a move authorities say is strengthening peace in North Rift. The Kenya Police Service reports that residents have voluntarily surrendered a total of 567 rifles and 1,861 rounds under the government-led Operation Maliza Uhalifu aimed at curbing armed violence in the region. On Tuesday, January 6, 2026, police confirmed through an X post that 4 more AK-47 rifles and 25 rounds of ammunition were turned in. About 20,000 junior school interns have announced a weekly protest over delayed payment employment, with 46,000 other teachers joining in solidarity. They argue the government has postponed confirmations unfairly until 2027, leaving many demoralized. Classes for over 1 million pupils could be affected if the demonstrations go ahead. A post-mortem examination has confirmed that 31-year-old Ali Adan Galgalo, one of the security guards trapped in the South Sea building collapse, died from multiple injuries sustained when the structure fell last Friday. The report underlines the dangers posed by the unsafe building as rescue teams continue their search for another guard believed to be inside. Galgalo was laid to rest on Tuesday at Langata Muslim Cemetery following prayers at Masjid Nur in South Sea.
Vile mnavyojua Waislamu waweze kuwekwa sana, ndio maana leo ndugu yetu amezikwa. Tungetaka hata hiyo akipatikana tupate nafasi ya kumzika kama ako hai. Ni ngumu sana saa hii kwa sababu ya muda, sio mambo ya search and rescue saa hii. Sasa ni kupata tu vile hali yako.
I've already written a letter to the governor, and then when we open the assembly on 14th of February, we're going to summon the CEC planning, chief officer, directors, all of them. I've even written a letter to DPP, Director of Public Prosecution.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority has announced that investigations into the fatal shooting of a 14-year-old grade 6 pupil in Mombasa are at an advanced stage. In a statement on January 6, 2026, IPOA said it launched investigations following the death of Dennis Ringa Swale, who was shot on New Year's Eve at Utange Swale Nguru Shopping Center in Kisauni Sub-County, Mombasa County. The probe was formally opened on January 2nd, 2026, days after the incident that shocked residents and sparked public outrage. Iran is facing one of its largest waves of civil unrest in recent years, with at least 36 people reported dead as protest over economic hardship and currency collapse spread across the country. The human rights activist news agency said 34 of the fatalities were protesters and 2 are linked to security forces. Iran officials have not released an official death toll, but have acknowledged that 3 members of the security forces have died. So far, BBC Persian has confirmed 20 deaths and verified the identities of the victims. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
It is exactly 5 minutes past 9 o'clock. How are you doing? A very good morning to you. Watu Nairobi, it's on 88.8 FM. Mombasa, it's 90.7. And of course, our lovely people in Garissa, it is 89.5. So if you're in that particular area, thank you so much for tuning in. A few shout outs here. Let me just mention a few names. There's Kahawa Tiso, good morning. My take, 2.0. Then there's High Quest Males. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Star Kenya as well. Adongo the African, good morning. Mikao Dido, Abariako, Gavina Samuel, good morning. And then we also have Juice X5L. Hey. Okay, sawa. Interesting names there. But thank you so much for coming through, guys. As far as this conversation is concerned this morning, we are talking about, we're just looking at our politics, specifically from the youth perspective, and just looking, of course, our political parties. In studio, we do have Otieno Mokaya. He's an advocate and a youth leader. He's also an aspirant. By the way, Mokaya, nilisema ndakuuliza na naona nikisahau.
Hata mimi.
Ni kiti gani unataka?
Mimi nataka kuwa mjumbe wa Bobasi constituency, Kisii County.
Okay.
Yes.
MP.
Member of Parliament.
All right. Yeah. We wish you all the best.
Asante.
Then we also have Peter Wanjiru, aka Kawanjiru. He's a youth leader within the Jubilee Party in Kiambu County. Peter, are you aspiring to be an MCA, MP, senator, governor?
Actually, right now, I'm involving my community.
Yes.
That's Komodhai Ward.
Yeah.
I'm listening to their views, and if as time goes,
yes,
I will decide whether to buy,
yes,
or not.
But some of them have told you, Mheshimiwa, kiongozi,
wanasema like,
yes,
wanalia sana. So lazima ni consult wazee, vijana pale, na wamama pia, na warembo wakisema ni mimi, tutavai tu, tutasimama.
Umesikia warembo?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
This man is poised. He even speaks the language.
Yes.
Anangoja kusikia mwito. Already anaisikiza.
All right.
That statement represents a truth that if it were practiced, Kenya would be a completely different country.
Yeah.
Because ideally, you are elected to represent the views of those people, not to go and do what you think you want to do or to tell them what to do.
Exactly.
They are supposed to tell you what they want you to do for them.
You know, I think the mistake with our political arena in Kenya is as politicians, as leaders, coming with a manifesto.
Those two are very different things.
Politicians
are completely different. Most of it are just politicians.
But let's assume the politicians.
Yes.
You know, wanakuja na the manifesto itself. Yes. They promise us, I will take you, I will do this, I will do this.
You should say, we promise, because you are a politician.
You know.
You are now in that bandwagon.
Baba Wapo.
You know,
actually he said, as politicians, then he realized, no. I'm not supposed to confess this truth. As leaders.
You know, I think we should, politicians and leaders, you know, as far as you are leading people, we should first of all go to the people, ask them, what you do like for me to present for you? You know, I think the mistake is, I come and tell you, I will take you to Singapore. I will take you to somewhere, but I have not had your views.
Maybe you want to go to Seychelles.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I think we should liars, mostly with the Mwananchi, the common Mwananchi at the grassroots, hear from him or her the challenges they are facing for us to represent them. Not us those who are representing them coming and telling you nitakufanyia hiyo.
Actually, leadership has to involve you telling people what you think you'd like to do for them also. Apart from listening, you'd say, look, there's this thing which I have in mind, which I'd like to do. And now we have a very robust constitution that allows you to actually go about getting to understand what these people who you represent think about your idea.
But
that's what we call public participation.
Exactly.
Yes.
But we should actually be promising what we can deliver. You know,
something
that people...
Just wait. So you want to vie for a position?
Wacha nikuulize because CT anatuambianga hapa na ni ukweli anyway, CT anatuambianga kitu uongo that our leaders wanatokanga to where we are. It's not like we don't import them.
These politicians, please, let's not confuse leadership and politicians.
Yes. All right.
These politicians.
We have agreed here that Wanjiru is the politician.
Yes.
You're also a politician.
You know, I think from my own view, sahi mwananchi amekuwa mrefu kidogo. Nimekuwa kwa ground. Hey, na unapata they are discussing what is happening. Wanakwambia like I was asked by someone which is the role of an MP. I was like wamefika aje hapo? Unajua
ulikuwa dhani bado ni mafala.
Bado ni mafala like sahi mwananchi amekuwa mrefu sana. Huwezi mwambia ati like tuseme an MCA umwambia ati I will build you maybe I will tarmac a road for you. Atashindwa
actually an MCA can.
Anaweza but
MP cannot.
Anaweza but in the real sense lazima akuulize where will you get the money? If you will not liaise with the county government, like sai mwananchi actually where we are heading to, the mwananchi ataanza kusema the role of MCA is this one. The role of an MP is this one.
Senator ni hii.
Governor ni hii. That's kama if you are underperforming, anakuja anakwambia this role uko wapi?
Okay. Kuna kitu nilikuwa nataka kuuliza before nisahau. Si wewe umetoka Komothai ward umesema hivyo?
Komothai ward.
Komothai. What is some of the things that before even you ask the residents, because you're one of them, what are some of the problems of Komothai?
I think most of the problem that we are facing as Komothai people
that an MCA of your caliber would sort.
Actually, most of the challenging thing that we are facing daily, first of all, is roads. The feeder roads, actually, kuna watu pale wa Mudhithi, Veita, Gidoli, at my own area, that's where a village called Kanake, Githima, Wajenga, the roads are actually messy. Actually, my brother here told me that the Mount Kenya people are living in maybe in USA, but hey, uko ground.
Ni mshafika Singapore.
Sisi bado. That's why we are complaining that the feeder roads need to be done something. The MCA, I think, he was very young when he was elected. He was actually 26 years. So I think he's still a young person. He has time. You know, 18 months is not a joke. Unajua anaweza amka maybe in this year
mupate barabara zote ziko tarmacked.
So I think
there is absolutely no place in this country in these constituencies where all the roads are tarmacked. Hakuna. Kama iko mtu niambie.
Let me tell you, if you go to Gatondo South, most of them, not all, but
I am talking about all. All. It is not possible. Even these so-called developed countries, okay? There are main roads, trunk roads that have tarmac, some have concrete in countries where people are perhaps more conscious and understand these things. But you cannot have a situation that all roads are tarmac. In fact, let me put it to you differently. All roads don't need to be tarmacked. Let me put it to you that way. Yes.
I think
tarmac is used to signify that the roads that exist in certain places are not well maintained, and that many of them are all impassable because if they existed, they have actually not been upgraded, or whatever it is that is required for them to be made usable has not been done.
I think what most Kenya should be demanding is most of the roads being constructed in a concrete way, because concrete inaweza last for 50 years. I think if we can maybe the current MCA maybe he or she can build 2 roads maybe in his or her entire 5 years, then the next MCA hatarudi pale. So you see, I think we can be progressing in a very,
you're
very
talking
high
about
rate.
that. Have you ever seen roads that have been built by communities? I have.
Yeah, I have. In Kiharu, Ziko.
Yes.
Mm.
Meaning, you look for the aggregate that is required, and you look for the human resource that knows how to manage those things.
Exactly.
All right? It's that element of the human resource, their training and understanding, that is responsible for what you see in Kiharu. The MP explained it quite well. And I listened to the things that he was saying.
Labor-based.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's meaning some thought went into that process. Okay? I know of roads that have been built exactly with that same formula. In fact, I know of places where the road was built, people were paid with food. Okay?
Harambee spirit program.
Yes, it's like people are paid. The road is built, but people are paid, but with food. So all I'm saying is, the leadership comes in when you find somebody who's been elected thinking about how best to engage the community that elected them, and how it is that the very things that they consider important, they can participate in ensuring is brought to the standards that they require. And now that's leadership. Because he knows, I have this resource, I have this money. He even takes it and says, guys, this is the money we have. Can we prioritize it? And then involves them in the actually doing of that work. And where there's a gap, she makes sure that people even go for some specific trainings so that they're able to implement these things well. That's now where leadership comes in. Not these fellows who talk non-stop. Okay? I'd always have an opinion on something. And the people who elected them never feature in the conversations they have. And the progress they wish to make in the lives of these people who elect them never features. And even a plan that they have and have discussed with their people for the welfare of these people is never discussed. Now, that is a politician, that's not a leader.
I think what we are facing in Kenya is like the leaders who are elected right now.
Excuse me.
They have the
politicians who are elected. You know, I'm going to be correcting you the whole time. Yes.
So those who are in position, like the politicians, as you have said, they have the asali in their hands. Then anakuja na kuambia the mwananchi, I'll give you the asali, you kuramba ile ya kuramba. But the time you are coming to kuramba, anakupatia the other thing. So I think that's where you are facing the challenge.
Anabadilisha na pilipili.
Ndio hiyo sasa.
So umesema ukikuwa MCA unatengeneza barabara za Komodhai.
If God allows and people gives me the power, because the power belongs to the people.
Yes, for sure.
If given the chance, I'll try my best to first prioritize the problems like the roads, the water, the youth unemployment. But we will do a lot if I will be given.
But let me
chance.
ask you, this is a question I want to ask the two of you. Okay? How exactly do you young politicians think, plan to actually change this country? Because clearly my generation has failed.
Okay. Changing this country, it's I am part of an outfit that does public conversations, and somebody was willing to pay for us to clean up a narrative. What we told them is there is an easier way to clean a narrative. Just do your job. I think the first thing we should do as young people that we want to make this country a better country is that can we first ensure or at least do our job. If you are a member of parliament, your roles are three: legislation, representation, and oversight. Do just that. Once you do your job, where you stop, somebody else, it's their job to pick it up from there, to do the policy, execution, and development. Once you oversight this person properly, then you realize you don't have to do more than your job. When you start doing more than somebody's job, you are overcompensating. Chances are you will not do your job properly. When MCAs think more about impeachment motions than oversight proper, then that is when our county governments become a cat and mouse game. The governor is ensuring the deputy governor does not sponsor an impeachment motion. The MCAs are ensuring that they extort the governor enough to ensure they don't impeach him. Then it means whether they are pending bills or not, it's not their problem. whether the county government is doing their function or not is not their problem. As long as they pick their basha from governor is not impeached at least for the next 1 week, and deputy governor does not rise to power by that. When MPs reduce themselves to voting machines, that is the first thing we do as young people. I am sure that more young people will be elected as members of parliament. But if we go there and kill debate in the house of debate and change that house to become a polling station, where the first thing you do for any motion is put the question, we don't even consider opposing views, where the speaker always mutes people who they know will say things they don't want to hear. If we go to do our job, governor knows that once you could be a politician to ascend to the position of governor, but once you sit as governor, you transform into a manager, because you are in charge, you are a trustee of funds for your county, and it's your role to ensure that that money goes to the right functions.
Yeah.
When we change our structure of governance to look at the current solutions that we need to offer our people and not the next election that we need to bribe our people towards, that I even have a problem why we should have even an yearly finance bill, why businesses have to fashion themselves to face the tax regime every year, that there is any business strategy that is over a year is long term. There is something wrong with that. I think then we'll try and fashion our country to a tax policy that an investor coming from US, China, or even Kisi knows that my business should face this way for the next 4 years, because that's what the tax policy looks like. Then what our young people will do once we get the mantle is change from tax bill or every year to a tax policy for at least 5 to 10 years. Then we'll start empowering these institutions to do their job. We'll move away from the Auditor General's reports being love letters and romantic statements. They'll start meaning something. That an audit query is not just a query.
Moka, you come from Borabu?
I come from Bobasi.
Bobasi, not
yes,
Borabu.
yes, Bobasi, Borabu.
Borabu
means east.
East. Borabu
yes.
means east.
So I come from East
And
Bobasi.
What does Bobasi mean?
Bobasi means the people who slaughtered a goat from the back. We were the last born of Omugusi's son,
Yes.
and when our father told us to slaughter a goat, we didn't know how to do it. So tulianzia nyuma, and that's how we became Omobasi.
So
yes.
mliwacha shingo mkaingia kwa-
It's a good thing because we are innovative people.
Okay. The question I want to ask is
Yes.
this. In the areas you both come from, what would you say is the fundamental problem that young people have? Please don't say employment. What is a problem that you think they have to kuacha employment kando?
The problem with our young people, I think it's our mindset.
Why do you say mindset?
Our mindset is that we think politicians are the beginning and the end of our problems.
Do you really think so?
Yes.
Do you share that idea?
No, I don't share. My idea is, we as youths, the first challenge you are facing is that we are just there, reluctant, waiting something to be done.
But that's exactly what
That's exactly
he
what I
says.
said.
But if you cannot, maybe I have the skill, maybe or I have the talent to be here like a presenter. Then nikae pale nyumbani hivi. So I think what we should as youths is to wake up, grab those opportunities, go there to the public, start shouting there that, show the world what you have. If you wait someone to come and do something for you, then you must wait until you are dead. So I think what we should do as youths, especially from where I come from, is to wake up. Say that I want to be this. Don't wait for someone to come and empower you.
You want them to be proactive.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
You know, I ask this question is for a very simple reason. You cannot be a provider of solutions if you don't intrinsically understand a problem.
Exactly.
You know?
So I think what we should do, if you want really to change this country, we must be there to speak what is happening. like people are saying, right now, we are in the intergeneration change, where we are saying that youths must be elected, youths must be given priorities. But how? You know, we must talk the truth. He is vying, but actually he has not even told us the party he belongs to. So I think if we really want change in this country, we must first of all align ourselves. Let's not say that we are tribalist, leaderless, partyless. How will you bring change?
Okay.
You know, the common mwananchi, mostly, and I mean mostly, in what happened, echoing what happened in last year's election, that's
the by-elections.
They actually aim the party. You know, if you don't align yourself with the party, ukuje kama independent. Currently, we have around 11 MPs in our parliament elected independent. So that means most of the people elected, they must align themselves with the party. So I think the youth, if you want to vie, my friend, you must join a certain political party. From there, bring the change. Ensure no mzee. I'm an old person.
Yes.
Get that certificate.
Let me ask you. So you're with the Jubilee Party, right?
Exactly.
What if you see during the primaries, the party primaries, assuming you still get to the very end of vying, someone else is given that ticket fraudulently, and the people are saying we want Kawanjiro. You want to tell me that now that they gave it to Mokaya, why to Mokaya? See, you will go out of the party and seek your own ways,
you know. Jubilee Party is the most beautiful party currently in Kenya, where everyone, every man would like to wish to have it.
Okay.
So in our Jubilee Party, actually yesterday we had a press conference, a media briefing.
Yes.
And my SG and my party leader and our presidential candidate, Fred Matiang'i, and the SG, our Kioni, assured us as young people that where we are heading to, the youths will be given the priorities. How?
Okay.
You know, I can't sit.
Why should you be given priorities?
You know, I have said in my previous statement that I cannot sit here, which to be maybe during the primaries nomination to pass through. I must show something. Okay. You know, lazima niende huko ground.
Ndio maana nimekuuliza, after all that umefanya hivyo vyote na uone Mokaya amepata hiyo kitu na unajua for sure Mokaya yuko qualified kufanya hiyo kitu.
You know,
na unajua hata watu wanakuambia hapana, hapo Kawanjiro umeenjoyiwa, wewe kuja, utaenda independent ama uende na UD party nyingine, DCP ama zile zenye ziko huko zote.
That will depend on how the party will carry the primaries nominations. If I see that maybe hapa nimeona nimeuma nje, I will just support the candidate who will get the certificate. Okay. If the nomination will be free, and transparent.
But I've just given you a scenario where it is not free and fair. I've given you a scenario. I'm not saying that Jubilee is not free and fair. I've just said, what if that day you wake up and one apana hapa vile kumeenda it wasn't fair?
I decide
on that day. Okay.
Why I ask this question is this. It is good to vie. It is important to want to present yourself as somebody who is a change agent. But it is infinitely more important to have a plan.
Exactly.
So that even as you go into whatever you're doing, you're very clear in your head what you want to do. The KRO MP whom we talk about cannot be doing what he's doing if he didn't have a plan. Believe me.
There was a plan.
The governor would not be doing what he's doing if he didn't have a plan. Believe me, when you see people doing things, they have a plan. And they worked out in detail, and they know we start here, we go here, from this we go here. If we have, and that's why people have advisors, because when you have a plan, you run it through them, hoping that you've gone through the business of actually talking to your constituents. You run it through them. If you do not have a plan and you don't structure it, then you will, precisely, the change we're talking about will never come. And you will actually never bring about any meaningful change. Let me give you an example of what I mean. When you talk to fellow young people who throng places where there are politicians who want to give out money, do you think that these young people understand that every time you take that money, not only a loan, that social benefit that you're waiting for is you've already sold it for that 200 shillings. It's gone.
Actually, that's what is happening currently hapo kwa mashinani. You know, the time you say you are vying, if you must, you know, if I can show you the text I'm receiving each and every day, ati mheshimiwa nitumie 200 namuuliza, you know, then we must have a debate. You know, if you want to buy,
unatumanga by the way?
Sina I'm still a student, so nitatoa wapi jamani? So okay. I think the debate we should be having with the common mwananchi is how the civic education. We must go there as political parties, especially as youths, educate our people that 200 unapewa, it will serve you for the next 5 years. But yesterday I saw a conversation somewhere. Someone said that tunataka huyu jamaa juu akona chama fulani. And I was perusing through the comments and people were saying this time hakuna chama. We look to a person, the individual person. What can you do? What have you been doing? And what you are capable of. I think
actually, and what plan do you have?
Exactly.
What plan do you have? Because you may have a good track record because people have told you we are building, so you go and help raise money. Or tunataka kufanya hii, you help, and you're known to help. But when you want, now this the leadership comes, when you want to represent a community, you want to be their leader, you have to have a plan.
Exactly. I think that's even my friend here, he will tell us whether he has a plan for...
Actually, there is a plan because Mngala asked a question, whether what I think is the problem of people of Bobasi. And my plan is simple, and I won't want to hold many ropes until I lose all. I have 3 agendas. Number 1 is education. Education goes into the software and hardware. Our schools in Bobasi must look good. They must accommodate our children to learn comfortably. The second plan is that sports and talent. We must have talent centers for young people to exercise football, music, athletics, volleyball, whatever they want to express in their age and whatever they want to express that can be monetized into shillings.
All right.
The third thing is people-based projects, which means I listen. I don't want to bring you a hospital when really you need a police station. And I think that sums what I think is people facing. Then the other aspect is that you'll hear the member of parliament for Bobasi speak in parliament and speak on behalf of the people of parliament and vote in the way that is in the interest of the people of Bobasi. And that's why I want to tell my brother here that we are not yet in places where we have parties in Kenya. What we have is political shops where you go buy tickets and they sell you to the person in power. Let's not sugarcoat things. UDA belongs to President William Ruto. Jubilee Party belongs to President Uhuru. DCP belongs to Gachagua. Wiper belongs to
Kalonzo.
And ODM is an orphan. So, and these parties mimic the tribal bases where they are strongest. We are yet to find a party that is nationalistic. And the day you wear a coat of a party, one thing you do is accept that you'll play by the rules and the whims of the owner of that party. That's why our members of parliament have no spine, because the moment you start speaking, you lose the very ground that you sit on in parliament. So then, he mentioned something that is dangerous, that you go to that party and ensure no mzee gets a ticket. I want to say here that there is nothing wrong with age. Every age or age group has its advantage and disadvantages. Youth comes with the vibrancy and the will to change and the recklessness to make mistakes, some of which change people for the better. Old age comes with the careful and strategic wisdom where there is no much wajinga uzeeka pia. Our God is gracious.
No, but we get what you mean.
Not every fool dies young. But there is that you need to tap from. There's a story we say in Kisii that there is at some times back, when somebody dies or becomes very old, you'll put him in a wheelbarrow, take him to the forest and dump him there. so that he can die, because we didn't have the willpower to kill them ourselves. So then there's this man who was taking his father to dump him in the forest so that a hyena can feast on him. On his side was his son. Then when they are at the preferred site when they wanted to dump the old man, the son told the man, "Dad, it's good that you have showed me this. At least I know where I'll take you when you get to this age." The man changed his mind, took his father
the father back.
And that's how we started allowing people to die of natural causes. So when you start judging people by their age, you should be mindful that your son should be telling you that the way you treat old men today is the way your son will treat you when you get there. Because chances are, by God's grace, you live long enough to be treated the way you treated old men.
Okay.
So we should accept that there is a place of wise people in our society, just like there is a place for
young
youthful
fools,
for youthful fools and youthful wise men.
Okay.
But that does not involve banning this country. City said the role of a leader is truth-pronged. You have the 2 ears to listen to your people, but you have the vision to guide your people to where you want to take them, with their consent, of course. So then, what does this thing that we have created called the Young Vibrant Leadership do? We are not here to extinguish the importance of the legacy leaders that we have. We are here to represent the hope and the audacity to try new things that will change this country for the better, without destroying the very foundations, the good foundations that the generation before us. Why? Because this country, we have inherited it from people who held it in trust, and we are not inheriting it so that we eat all of it. We are inheriting it so we preserve it, we make it better for the generations that will come after us.
You know what is of interest is that we embraced and institutionalized a certain ethos of life that is not really African. The communal way in which we do things, or we did things, was symptomatic of people who understood that they were custodians. That land, and that was communal land. I'm actually a custodian.
Yeah.
You could farm it, you could till it. There was an area, it was known that was so and so's farm, but it was understood that other people would in turn utilize that particular property. Now, the so-called idea of the nuclear family, where you exclude everybody else when you're making your plans, is very alien to the way Africans went about their business. But we've adopted it, and that's the way we look at life now. That having been said, if you consider one of the greatest tragedies of the Kenyan life is how it is we have focused all our energies on accumulating as much material wealth as we possibly can, at the exclusion of everything else, to the point where the accumulation of material things has become like a form of worship. So money actually acquires a quality it doesn't ordinarily have. It becomes a god. Now, do we have the time and the patience to be able to actually walk young people, your generation, through the processes of understanding a very simple concept called a meritocracy? Because when we talk about tribal associations in the political setup that we have over time built and accepted, if we talk about this regional affluence and thinking in terms of where we come from, which is a good thing, but in terms of at the exclusion of others, that's where the problem comes in. Where does the meritocracy come in? Because what we've seen over time is something which we call in the line of business crony capitalism. That's why we have a country where some of our richest people were all civil servants at some point.
Not leaders of industry?
No.
Not manufacturers?
No, politicians. The people who are businessmen are known, and the businesses that they were involved in are known. And people who then later became businessmen learned to associate being in government and the position they held. They bought into businesses that businessmen already had, and because they were in a position to help them to grow. It's all right. That's a nice ringtone. It's called crony capitalism. Now, part of the reason why we see it is because very many people politicians who purport to be leaders have never understood how it is you grow an economy. Look at the governors that we have in this country. The vast majority are failures. In that all the billions they've been given, you cannot justify what you see as representing development with the monies that they have received. But then we, in turn, have accepted a minimalist approach to everything that they do, so that when someone does something very small, say, oh, but that's what we point to. Yeah. And you forget the fundamental question. Given that you received X amount of money, all right, this represents 0.0 something percent of it. Where did the other go? And they do, oh, but 60% to 70% is used in employing people. The moment you have a narrative where you think the money is given is for employment, you clearly demonstrate that you don't understand how to build an ecosystem where growth can actually take place, and that the economy of that video county of yours can grow. That's why most of our counties are essentially still, but they don't really grow. Some even have the misfortune of having an own source revenue which is less than the municipality of the time was collecting. Now, the challenge: where do you people place meritocracy in your line of priorities as to what it is that you'd like to see?
I think what we are currently lacking as youths is godfathers. You know, you yourself, right now, you are a presenter. If I ask you, are you mentoring someone who is very young?
What do you think I'm doing now?
Here we are.
Right now, what do you think I'm doing? I know in a talk show, but what do you think I'm doing?
You know, you are not mentoring me in a way.
Actually, I am. When I challenge you and ask you a question, what do you think I'm doing? I'm asking you to think beyond the normal boundaries that you've been thinking.
But do you have someone who is young?
Not someone. I have people. It's not one person.
Who they are saying that you are mentoring them.
Not only they are saying,
it is happening.
It is happening, and there are others who will tell you, this fellow mentored me during this point in time.
That's very nice. So I think what we are, we as youths,
we had one recently, and this particular gentleman here was quite shocked when the guy said, "No, this man."
My role model, I had.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think what we are lacking as youths is someone who can mentor us, maybe in public participation,
right?
Civic education, how to do with tribal thing, leader thing, political thing. So I think if we can have some people who are mentoring us as youths to show us the way, like you are supposed to do this way.
Yeah.
Like in the village, we have the wazes who maybe at sometimes at ukifikisha a certain age, they will start showing you how to maybe slaughter a goat. So if you can have such kind of people in Kenya at large, then in the next 2 years or maybe so off, we can be very far. So I think what we as youths we are lacking is someone who can show you the way, hold you your hands.
Yes.
But akuonyesha the way, how to do things, how to carry things. Like for me, let me assume I'm a student, but I'm a student right now. I'm doing automotive engineering.
Okay.
So if I don't have someone who I'm looking for...
Are we still assuming, or you're actually doing automotive engineering?
I'm doing automotive engineering.
Okay, yes.
So if I don't have someone who is mentoring me or showing me how I should do things, then in the next 5 years or so, I will be still the same. So I think in leadership, what we lack mostly is someone who can show you how to do things. Like in my own view, in Murang'a County, we have very good leaders who I see them like they mentor young people. But in my case, it's very different. When I say I can read people, then nitaanza kugogwa kichwa nirudi wapi? Pale chini. Because they don't want you to take people where they were not able to take them. So I think if we can have a conversation on how we can be mentoring young people, that's what Jubilee Party is doing. Jubilee Party is giving us, as the Youth League, a platform on where we can learn, be trained on how to govern our nation, how to run politics, how to do leadership. I think the only party, and my brother said that we don't have a national party. Jubilee Party is a national party. We have 4 MCS in Makueni and an MP in Makueni. So that's in the political.
That is one part of the country.
I am assuming if that's a bedroom for the Wiper Party. But if you can get 4 MCS in a bedroom, you know, like you have your own people.
So you're a home wrecker.
Yeah, I think. So
that's a serious allegation.
So Jubilee Party is a national party.
Yeah.
And it's mentoring young people. That's why I'm here. I'm being mentored. So I think in the next 6 months,
yes,
when I will come back here, the way I'm speaking right now,
itabadilika.
It will change.
Utakuwa umepiga mazungumzo pasi.
If this was my first interview, in a national TV, in a national radio station, like this, it's my first interview.
Yes.
The way I'm speaking right now, I'm like maybe our listeners can tell us. Maybe I'm like na ile inaitangwa kuwanyunyuzia maji. Hiyo the same.
Yes.
So
believe me, you communicate quite clearly. Yes, you communicate quite clearly. So it's not, don't doubt yourself. You communicate well because you are speaking what you feel, what you know, and that is important.
So I think if I will be mentored in the 6 months, when I come back here, I will be very different. I would urge our people, even my brother here, to join our party because he'll be given a platform to run, to explore, to mingle with leaders like leaders of who are in the current government, like they are elected, leaders who are there. So they will tell you that you want to run for the MP seat. You are supposed to do this, carry this, carry yourself in this way. Like Jubilee Party is doing a lot. Actually, I don't know how.
Have you ever been a member of any other political party before?
Yes, I belonged to a party that I don't know whether it was registered.
What was it called?
It was called the Voices. The Voices. It was called the Voices. I think
it wasn't a singing group.
It was a party, but when I joined, actually Jubilee Party came in when I was aspiring to be a student leader, where I'm currently a student.
Yes.
So I met Ejo Budhia, our youth league chairperson at that time. She brought me to the party, took me in platforms where I can meet people, meet other young leaders from different institutions, and that's where I started learning. Oh, I was not supposed to do these things. I'm supposed to do these things.
Yeah.
So I think our parties, especially political parties in Kenya, should come out clearly on how they are training their youths or they are mentoring the youths. If we mentor the youths, in the next coming election, we will be very far.
Yeah. All right. I think there's parties have been there. There's the one for Kingo Kamenchu. You can
Placenta Party.
It wasn't. It had another name. It wasn't Placenta.
I've heard of Placenta Party.
There's one that had a love heart and then Kenya in the middle. Anyway, I'll remember it and then I'll let you know before we end the show.
Yeah. Okay. So to answer City's question, 2 things. There's nothing wrong with tribe. And I'm saying this very confidently.
Yeah.
That the beauty of this country is the rainbow in what we present, is the diversity, that we are not the same. We don't come with the same abilities.
Yeah.
That we know who know that there is Kisi here, and there is Jaluo here, there is Kalenjin here, there is Kikuyu here, there is Somali here. We don't look the same, but magically we belong in this country called Kenya, and we speak the same language called Swahili, and together we form the cocktail that makes this beautiful country, the black, green, red and white. The problem is when tribe becomes our only agenda. There is absolutely no problem in identifying with who you are, because that is what locates you to people who share common ancestry with you. It's identity. And we must guard that, because even in our constitution, it is recognized. There is no problem in speaking in Ekegusi, and fluently so. We can't accept what the colonial masters told us, that tribe is primitive, that nothing cultural is good. Culture is good. The only problem with tribe is that when it only becomes the only consideration in exclusion of everybody else.
Yeah.
As somebody who comes from the Omogusi nation, I should recognize that the best best fundi for my bespoke suits is Luo. I should understand that there is nothing wrong. I should not wear a suit that looks like the Supreme Court because I must wear a suit sewn by Mkisi. I should also understand that the best singer that I know is Embarambamba, who comes from my place, because he sings in a way that, a language that I can hear.
Yeah.
But I must also appreciate that I should not get offended when I can hear Samido sing in Mugithi, because it means that is Embarambamba for somebody else. So everybody must not like what I like.
Yes.
I've brought an aspect of meritocracy here, that my fundi who's Luo, my mechanic who's Luya, and my professor who's Kikuyu, they form a very good mix of the capabilities we can harvest from the strength of each people, each nation.
Yes.
And we should celebrate that. But it can't be that I can't listen to somebody else because when I'm creating an orchestra, that everybody must be Kisi. The drum guy must be Kisi, the guitarist must be Kisi, the voice guy must be Kisi, and even the hype man must be Kisi, when I know there are people who have better capacities than my people. That's now when we start something called qualified kind of tribe. Negative ethnicity. Without that negativity in that ethnicity, there is nothing wrong with where we come from.
Do you really think that there is something called negative ethnicity?
I think when you make ethnicity the only consideration in everything you think, when you start saying,
then you demonize every other.
When every statement starts with, I'm trying not to say Murima, when everything you say starts with sisi kama wakisi, hii kitu inatusaidia kama wakisi, and there's somebody who's firebrand on that aspect.
But why do you think that people do that? Because it's not just one. You see, if you happen to have made it a point of speaking very often, and you have made it a point of ensuring that what you say is heard by very many people, and we're in the information age, so it is possible, then you will end up being seen as the person who speaks about that the most. And yet,
there are people practicing it.
Yes, at the very core, we are tribal. And
I'm actually tempted to agree with you.
No. This isn't a bad thing. This is the whole point I'm trying to make. I do not like that construct called negative ethnicity, because it is people who negatively use their ethnicity or weaponize it. It's not negative, it is weaponized, because they have an agenda that they want to pursue, and that agenda is easily served when they identify themselves with their ethnicity and they propagate everything with their ethnicity. That's it. The weaponizing of it. That is where the problem arises. But do you know the beauty and the benefit of this diversity that we have?
We can tap to capacities that we are uniquely specialized in.
It is. Julius Nyerere understood this long before we did. He understood it, and he muted it by ensuring that Kiswahili came to the fore. Tanzania has more ethnic communities than we do.
But
by
not
far.
as pronounced as we
You don't even know them. If I were to ask you to mention 4 ethnic groups in Tanzania, you will not be able to. They are more than we are. My point being, anyway, Julius Nyerere didn't know what he set in motion, because the current CCM have a problem because he actually succeeded in unifying the country.
To CCM.
Yes, and that's why their youth, it is easy for their youth to have done what they did. And those who have been in the party, Vigogo as we call them, didn't see it coming. Now, there's a point I'm trying to make here. we have a group that refers to themselves as the United Opposition. I will never call it the United Opposition because there's nothing united about them. When they're united, I will be able to see it. But for now, that's what they call themselves. Now, when you say you're united, and everybody in the country can see that you're far from it. So what are you selling? And then you criticize the government for doing something that you yourself also doing. What am I trying to say? There's a generational hypocrisy that people of my generation, those who are older and those who are close to me in age, have entrenched in this country for the longest time. And you, who are young, are, with your eyes wide open, following in those footsteps. And you think there's a benefit, and you don't seem to understand that this is what actually limits the things that you could achieve and do. This thing of young people in government, it's not new. At independence, we had people who are 29 years old as permanent secretaries. We had very young people. And these young people had the responsibility. And remember, these were first time. No African had ever done these things. They were put there and they were doing what they were supposed to do. What am I trying to say? In a generation and in a time when young people have the advantage of being in the information age where you know so much, what excuse do you have for following dictates that are negative and completely anti-progression? That's why I brought in the topic of meritocracy. Because if you're looking for someone and you focus on a meritocracy, it doesn't matter where that person comes from. It honestly doesn't matter where that person comes from, because they'll get the job done.
That's true, and that is the beauty in our in this cocktail called Kenya. He touched on mentorship. I believe we are confusing the idea of mentorship with spoon feeding. A mentor should not identify you. A mentor should mirror what you should be. It's true that there are people who mentor people they don't know. The touching the helm of the cloth of Jesus concept. That you can be healed without the medicine man knowing that they healed you. There are people here who are mentored by Obama, and Obama does not know them. Because Obama mirrors what success means to them. But the road to success must be walked by the person who actually wants to be successful. If you are lucky that your mentor identifies you, then you could be 5 to 10% max. Because again, even your mentors have their own struggles. If William Ruto is your mentor today, you think William Ruto will stop trying to struggle to retain his presidency and come to mentor you in the leader you want to be? If Otieno Mokaya is your mentor today, I hope so, do you think Otieno Mokaya will stop vying and struggling to even fundraise for his political ambition to come and ensure you are a student leader? It's part of what he can do, but first he has to survive. Even on planes, you are told first put your mask on before you go to help somebody else. Then this mentorship we are looking for, we should redefine it. 2, I am sure President Moi did not go to look for William Ruto to mentor him. William Ruto mirrored what President Moi was doing, so much so that even in the political journey of President Moi, Moi could see there is something about this guy. But he was in the doing. So your local politician who you want to be your godfather will not come to your hostel and pick you to be his leader, to be his successor. He'll pick you in your road to be a leader when he realizes there is a function you can play in his grand scale of things. But if you stay in your what the best you can do is a blogger trying to write what he can't say and look bad for him to look good, or his bodyguard to be shot on his behalf. The ones that get bad things happening to them in campaign chaos. So then, how do we get mentored? The problem with getting mentored is that you might pick the good and the bad in your mentor. You can be so good a leader and also as corrupt or even more corrupt than your mentor, because you might pick even the bad things. It happens in my career that the pupils now swear that they won't be as bad as their pupil masters. Then they get into becoming advocates and they become worse people, worse than their pupil masters on how they treat their juniors. So then as young people, I think the best thing we can do is initiative. Before you're complaining, you should ask yourself, what am I doing to change what is wrong? Not everybody can know what is wrong. Everybody can complain, but very few of us will right the wrongs for other people to copy.
Thank you so much, Mokaya. Kawanjiro, I'll allow you 10 seconds closing remarks because we've come to the end of the show. What are your parting shots as far as the conversation we've had is concerned?
First of all, I would like to appreciate you two gentlemen. We had a good conversation, and I can't mind coming back here again and again. We interact more.
You will. We'll invite you.
Thank you. So, moving forward, I'm looking to engage you with Mokaya here. And I was to ask Mokaya ni yule wa TikTok ama ni, are you related somehow? You answer that.
That's a comedian, I'm a lawyer.
So, the next thing I would like to appreciate my party. That's my Jubilee party. Appreciate Angel Budhia for the good work she's doing. And also my friends there, Akina Sakawa, Akina Kengori, Akina Juliet. So we are a big team of the youth. Yes. We are doing good work. We are heading this journey together. And my people from where I come from Komodhai, I would like to appreciate them. They have born a king in the making. I'm the David. You know, if the Saul is the king right now,
yes,
I might find myself being anointed by Samuel. Okay. So, thank you very much. We shall interact more.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, and we wish you all the best, both of you. Of course, Mokaya, wewe ulituambia kitambo kidogo unataka kufanya nini? Wewe umesema bado unaamua, unangoja ground ikuamulie yani. Haya, sawa. Folks, we have come to the end, but we shall be again here tomorrow morning, bright and early at exactly 6 in the a.m. We leave you in the safe hands of Lady Mathai and Rania on the retro box. And don't forget, if you're heading towards Garissa, 89.5 is where you will find us. Right now, though, tuonane kesho.